may be wrong. I'm wrong.
Brett Saberhagen and Mo Vaughn had their day in the sun. Today, it's Pedro Martinez hoping to shine against the Bronx Bombers. Can the Red Sox take 2 bites out of the Big Apple? Sox and Yankees next on 68 Sports.
Sports presents Boston Red Sox baseball today from Yankee Stadium in New York. The final game of this 4-game series between the Red Sox and the New York Yankees. Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough. It's great to have you with us as the Red Sox go for a split of this 4-game set. They ended their 6-game losing streak yesterday behind a fine pitching performance by Brett Saberhagen. Today in the series finale, a very appealing pitching matchup. 2 of the best starting pitchers in all of baseball. The Red Sox have Pedro Martinez on the mound. At age 26, he's already won a Cy Young Award last year in the National League. The Yankees counter with left-hander Andy Pettitte. He's 25 years old. 2 years ago, he finished second in the Cy Young Award balloting in the American League to Pat Henkin of Toronto. Both big winners throughout their careers. Martinez 30 games above 500, while Andy Pettitte is 29 games above 500 for his career. But both have something else in common, each coming off a tough outing. Martinez got roughed up by Toronto at Fenway on Monday afternoon. He gave up a career-high 12 hits in that ball game, while Andy Pettitte issued a career-high 7 walks Tuesday night in a game at Chicago. Joined, as always, by Jerry Remy. Jerry, these are 2 terrific starting pitchers.
This should be great this afternoon at the stadium. 55,000 fans, 2 terrific pitchers. And, of course, Pettitte coming off a tough outing last time. Gave up the 7 walks, which is a career high for him. But he's always tough against the Red Sox. In 3 starts here at Yankee Stadium, he's only allowed 1 earned run against Boston teams. So he's ready to go. Plus, his name's been thrown around in some trade talks. Randy Johnson's name's come up. They want Pettitte. I don't think that's going to happen. On the other side, Pedro giving up 3 home runs last time out. A career-high 12 hits. You know, it's been a long 4 days waiting for this start for Pedro. And I got to tell you, he's got a lot of fans here this afternoon. The bleachers loaded with Dominicans, so it's going to be quite a war here this afternoon.
Tremendous atmosphere at Yankee Stadium for the final game of this series. We'll have the first pitch for you in just a moment. But first, back to our 68 Sports Studios. Here's Doug Brown.
All right, Sean and Jerry, thanks so much. Looks like another beautiful day in the Bronx, and welcome once again to Red Sox baseball. Glad to have you along with us. Well, on Friday, the Yankees beat the Red Sox for the 1,000th time in the long history of this great rivalry. But yesterday afternoon, the Red Sox got on the board in this weekend series with win number 813 against the Yankees, of course, largely because of the pitching effort of Brett Saberhagen. So they'll try and get back-to-back pitching efforts today with Pedro Martinez on the mound. And today's starting pitchers are brought to you by your New England Ford dealers. Pedro Martinez trying to bounce back from that game at Fenway against the Blue Jays the other day. Sean told you about Andy Pettitte's last outing. He's not getting the run support some of the other Yankee starters are getting. The Yankees are getting 6.5 runs per ball game on average, but Pettitte has only been getting 5. Sean and Jerry have the first pitch from the stadium.
More than 55,000 at Yankee Stadium in New York for the final game of this 4-game series between the Red Sox and the New York Yankees. The Yankees have just taken the field. Colors are being presented by curtain post number 927 of the American Legion from Green Island, New York. And now it's time for our national anthem.
We'll sing
to be sung by Max von Essen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Max von Essen with our national anthem. Today's starting lineups are brought to you by your friendly New England Dodge dealers. The more things change, the more things look like the new Dodge. For the Red Sox, they try to make it 2 in a row. Darren Lewis leads off and plays center field. John Valentin, the third baseman. Nomar Garcia-Parra back in the lineup at shortstop and batting third. The cleanup hitter, first baseman Mo Vaughn. Jim Leyritz, the DH, bats fifth. Batting sixth in left field, Troy O'Leary. Lou Merloni is the second baseman. The right fielder, Darren Bragg, hits eighth. And batting ninth, the catcher, Jason Varitek, against 25-year-old left-hander Andy Pettitte.
For Pettitte, this will be start number 12 on the season, a record of 6-4 with a 4.07 ERA. Hit some high numbers, 85 hits allowed in 73 innings. He's walked a lot of batters, 36, and opponents hitting 305 off the left-hander. Of course, Pettitte's name has been talked about in some trade rumors concerning Randy Johnson, but I don't think the Yankees are prepared to make that move. And of course, Pettitte always tough against the Red Sox, especially here at Yankee Stadium. He's worked a total of 24 2/3 innings against Boston and has allowed 1 earned run at the stadium.
And the defense is brought to you by Toyota. The Yankees are 5th in the American League in team fielding. They have Chad Curtis in left, Bernie Williams in center, Paul O'Neill in right. Playing third base, Scott Brocious, Derek Jeter at short, Chuck Knobloch at second, Tino Martinez at first, and Joe Girardi is the battery mate of Andy Pettitte. Joe Torre, Yankee manager, with Mel Stottlemyre, the pitching coach, alongside. Yankees still with an 8.5 game lead over the Red Sox in the American League East. Yankees in first. The Red Sox are second with a record of 30-22. New York's 37-12. Sunshine at the moment. The chance of a thunderstorm in the late afternoon or early evening here in the New York City area. Warm and humid at game time. And Lewis leads off, batting .292. 2 homers and 14 runs batted in. Pettitte's first pitch is a ball high. .77 degrees and sticky in the Bronx. Strike on the outside corner, called by Jim Joyce. Al Clark, the umpire at first base. John Hirschbeck is at second. Ted Barrett has the plays at third. Breaking ball for strike 2, 1-2. Mentioned a rough outing last time out for Pettitte. 7 walks. Those who follow the Yankees closely say he was distracted by the fact that his wife was due to give birth to their second child at any time. And in fact, 2 nights after that outing on Tuesday, on Thursday night, Pettitte's wife Laura gave birth to their second child, a son named Jared. Now the 2-2 to Lewis. Chop foul at the plate.
What an atmosphere here at Yankee Stadium this afternoon. Over 55,000 people, Sean, as you mentioned. Of course, the majority of those Yankee fans. But Pedro Martinez has got quite a following here this afternoon, too.
Particularly out in the bleacher area near the Red Sox bullpen. Pedro received a big hand from that group as he walked out to warm up prior to today's game. Just a little bit down and in. A very close pitch, and Lewis is fortunate to still be up there. Darren has been the Red Sox leadoff hitter for 17 straight games now. He was 0 for 3 yesterday. And he strikes out.
Strikeout high for Pettitte on the season is 7. He's done that a couple of times this year. This looks like the cut fastball from Andy Pettitte, working down and in on that right-handed hitter. It's the pitch he just missed with on the pitch before. Lewis figured he better swing that time.
1 out. John Valentin, the hitter. He looked at ball one outside. Valentin's batting .232. 6 homers and 21 runs batted in. Two and 0 the count. And that's ball 3. Valentin 0 for 3 yesterday, 2 for 11 in the series. And that's ball 4. After striking out Lewis on the 3-2 pitch, Pettitte walks Valentin on 4 straight. And the Red Sox have a 1-out base runner in the first inning.
Got to be careful at first base. Andy Pettitte last year picked up 14 guys, so he's certainly got one of the best moves in baseball. As a matter of fact, the last 3 years, 12 he's picked off at 95, 11 in 96, and 14 last year. So you can't get too far off that first base bag.
Nomar Garcia-Parra, after an off day yesterday to rest his shoulder, which was still a little bit sore, he's back in the lineup, hitting .297. Breaking ball high, and that's 5 straight out of the strike zone thrown by Andy Pettitte. We're going to throw to first to keep an eye on Valentin. John has 2 stolen bases and has been thrown out once. He and the Red Sox are well aware of the pickoff move of Andy Pettitte. Not much of a lead for Valentin. He was actually leaning back toward first base as Pettitte missed again. That's 6 straight balls, and Joe Girardi, the catcher, heads to the mound.
A lot of walks in the game yesterday by Arabu. And Pettitte, as you mentioned, Sean, had trouble with his control last time out. But this Yankee pitching has been very tough all season long. Both the starters and those guys working out of the bullpen.
Yankees now lead the American League in team earned run average at 4.13. Broken bat pop-up. Derek Jeter has it. 2 outs.
And that's what makes Pettitte tough against right-handed hitters. That cut fastball, you think it's a straight fastball. Right at the end, there's a little break to it and jams right-handed hitters. Nomar tries to pull the hands in, but can't get the good part of the bat on it. And a little pop-up to Jeter.
2 outs and a runner at first. No score. Top of the first. Here's Mo Vaughn batting .308 with 15 homers and 35 runs batted in. Mo's tied with Juan Gonzalez for 5th in the American League in home runs. And he looked at a ball low. Mo hit a big home run here yesterday off Irabu as the Red Sox won a 3-2 game. Mo's only hit in 4 at bats. On the inside corner, a strike. Jerry, that was a huge win yesterday for a Red Sox team that really needed it.
And it took a veteran pitcher. Brett Saberhagen was outstanding in that game yesterday. Very similar to his starts early in the season. So maybe his slump is over. And of course, with Martinez going today, the Red Sox hope to go back-to-back with those wins.
Red Sox didn't seem all that concerned about Saberhagen during the slump. They felt he was still throwing the ball well. Their faith was rewarded yesterday. He certainly never lost faith in himself. He said he was greatly motivated yesterday by the crowd heckling him as he was warming up in the bullpen, hollering at him that he was not very good, to clean it up a little bit. He might be washed up. He demonstrated that that was not the case. Well, the fans are into it early once again. They'd like to see Pettitte strike out Vaughn to end the inning. And he almost did. He thought he had it. The pitch right under the hands. with Mo standing very close to the plate, but it was called a ball.
Mo's hands are about in the middle of the strike zone, so that couldn't have missed by very much.
Vaughn has struck out 58 times, tied with Jim Thome of Cleveland for the league lead in strikeouts. And 2 of them have struck out 10 more times than anybody else in the league. There's a great view of where Vaughn's hands are, right over the inside corner, and as the pitch comes, they actually move out over the plate a little bit.
Not a bad place to be here at Yankee Stadium either. Get on top of that plate, try to hook everything, try to pull the ball to that short porch in right field.
Also, as you see, very deep in the batter's box. Back line of the batter's box erased. His back foot might be just a little bit out of it. The 2-2. He struck him out with a high breaking ball. And Pettitte, who doesn't show much emotion, showed some there as he pumped his fist after Vaughn swung and missed. 2 strikeouts in the inning. After half inning, no score on the 68 Sports Red Sox television network. In right field, Paul O'Neill. The cleanup hitter, first baseman Tino Martinez. Bernie Williams is the center fielder. The DH, Darryl Strawberry, bats 6th. Batting 7th in left field, Chad Curtis. Scott Brocious, the third baseman, hits 8th. And the catcher, Joe Girardi, will swing 9th against Pedro Martinez.
5-1 for Martinez, 2.36 ERA. That's 3rd in the league behind Arabu and Finley. He is 2nd in strikeouts behind Johnson. He has 96 strikeouts, and he beat the Yankees last August here at the stadium. Complete game, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 10 strikeouts against New York here at Yankee Stadium.
Trying to bounce back after the shaky start against Toronto. He might have gotten a piece of that ball up the middle from Knobloch, and Lou Merlone threw him out. And Knobloch, first ball swinging, hit one sharply through the box. And the play is made for the first out of the inning.
Knobloch jumping on the first pitch, and it looks like it might have been slowed down by Martinez, because I thought that ball was headed right up the middle for a base hit. Merlone with the backhand and throws Knobloch out at first base.
One pitch and 1 out. Here's Derek Jeter, hitting .327, 7 homers, 31 runs batted in. He's 8th in the American League in hitting. And he leads the league in runs scored with 50. The official scorer has credited Martinez with an assist on that ball hit by Knobloch, 1-4-3. So in his judgment, Pedro did get a piece of it. The ball just outside, 1-1 on Jeter. I mentioned he leads in runs scored, 7th in stolen bases with 13, and 8th in batting average. The Yankees have 3 hitters in the top 10 in the league in batting average. Martinez in with strike 2, 1-2. Derek Jeter's had a great month of May, batting .372. He struck him out. Martinez blistered the fastball past Jeter for the second out of the inning. And the Dominicans in the left field bleachers love it.
There's a lot of them in the left field bleachers. There are some in right field, and they're having a pretty good battle out there with those Yankee fans. Martinez, of course, embarrassed after his last start. Those 12 hits allowed against Toronto and 3 home runs. He's been waiting for this one. What an atmosphere here this afternoon.
Saw Pedro in the clubhouse a couple of hours before the first pitch, and he was still looking for tickets. So he's responsible for at least some of these people coming into the ballpark on his pass list. Each player gets 6 tickets for the games, but sometimes they'll borrow some from other players. In a big city like this, everybody knows somebody, and it's difficult to borrow tickets from your teammates.
2 toughest places to get tickets are right here at Yankee Stadium and when the Red Sox head out to Anaheim, because a lot of guys grew up in California. They're tough to come by.
Paul O'Neill hitting .320, 4 homers, 41 runs batted in. He chased a nasty pitch down and away.
Good changeup by Martinez, completely fooling Paul O'Neill.
Martinez looking for a 1-2-3 first, and it skips past Pettitte. No score, bottom of the first. O'Neill just out of the top 10 in the league in hitting. 4 for 12 in this series. He's 2 points behind the number 10 hitter in the league, Quentin McCracken of Tampa Bay. With his 42 runs batted in, O'Neill is tied for 4th in the league in ribbies, despite the fact that he's hit just the 4 home runs. He's been hot. 11 for his last 26. That's a .423 average. Pedro's 2-2. O'Neill just got a piece of that. Pettitte upset with himself that he couldn't snare the foul tip.
Well, Sean, you may see a little bit of pitcher's duel this afternoon than you saw yesterday out in Omaha.
Yes, I saw a 12-10 game yesterday between LSU He struck him out. Paul O'Neill goes down swinging. Back-to-back strikeouts to end the first inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Martinez. After one, no score on the 68 Sports Red Sox television network. LSU had 8 home runs. There were 10 home runs combined in the game. Previous record for home runs by one team was 5, so LSU shattered that. Some of the longest home runs you're ever going to see. They need to do something about college baseball. There's been 3 games in the College World Series, 4 games rather altogether, but in 3 of them both teams have scored 10 runs or more. The other one was a 3-1 game. Jim Leyritz swings at the first pitch from Andy Pettitte, chopped it to short. A little extra bounce from Jeter, who had trouble getting the ball out of his glove. Leyritz is out on 1 pitch.
Because Leyritz had a home run here at Yankee Stadium, number 8 in the last game that he played. Was 2 for 3 in that ball game. Leyritz still gets a huge ovation here at the stadium because of that home run against the Atlanta Braves. They were showing on the scoreboard the other night during the rain delay, and he got a big ovation for that.
Sorry I missed that rain delay on Friday night.
I'm sure you are.
Troy O'Leary, the batter. 1 strike the count. Troy's hitting .293, 12 homers, and 26 runs batted in. He was on a home run tear for a while. His long ball pace has slowed in the last couple of weeks. He is still tied for 7th in the American League in home runs. The 0-2 pitch, driven down the left field line. It slices foul. I always hate to miss a Red Sox telecast, particularly when at Yankee Stadium when the Red Sox play the Yankees. Even with the rain delay, the atmosphere is tremendous, particularly so when the 2 teams are in the thick of the battle for postseason berths, as these 2 are. Check swing, no swing, said Ted Barrett.
It was amazing the other night, Sean, is how many fans hung around Yankee Stadium for that 9:45 start and stayed right till the end.
Strike 3, borderline pitch on the outside corner. Jim Joyce rings up Troy O'Leary. And if these pitchers are around the plate as they should be, you would expect they'd get the benefit of the close calls today.
Jim Joyce took a little extra long look at that last pitch before finally calling the strike against O'Leary. See it just off the outside edge, but with the control of both these guys, the type of pitchers they are, they should get those strikes.
I doubt you said that when you played. Lou Merlone looked at ball 1. Lou 1 for 4 with an RBI double yesterday, hitting .286, a homer, and 7 runs batted in. Down to third, gobbled up by Brocious. A 1-2-3 inning for Andy Pettitte. After an inning and a half, no score. We'll be back after these words from your local stations along the 68 Sports Red Sox television network. Brought to you by Mazda. Experienced cars and trucks built with a passion for the road. Mazda. Well, so much attention on the home run pace of Mark McGwire. We've lost sight of his RBI total and that of Juan Gonzalez. Something the hardest record to break is Hack Wilson's 190 runs batted in. But Gonzalez and McGwire are on that pace. They have 66 runs batted in each. Gonzalez has done it in 53 games. McGwire has the 27 homers to go with his 66. Andres Galarraga third. He's led the National League in rookies each of the last 2 years. How about Damian Easley? His career high in runs batted in is 72 last season. He never had 35 before that. He has 47 this year. Fifth in the majors, second baseman for Detroit.
He's in the top 10 in hitting, home runs, and RBI.
Tino Martinez took ball one, then fouled the second pitch away. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's still coming back from the after effects of being hit by Armando Benitez. A pitch that touched off the brawl, and then he injured his shoulder sliding into third base at Fenway Park last weekend. Breaking ball inside. 2 balls and a strike on Martinez. Still looking for his first hit in the series. Batting .314 for the year. He's out ahead of the changeup, 2-2.
You see a lot of fastballs, a lot of changeups for Martinez today. Quite a few left-handed hitters in this Yankee lineup. Although I thought we'd see maybe a few more. I thought Posada might be in there and also Tim Raines, but not the case.
Went on the hands and a little pop-up and foul ground. Veritek. Nice play. Almost got tangled up with the stool in the on-deck circle. That didn't get very high in the air, and Jason was very close to the retaining wall by the Red Sox dugout when he made the catch.
You mentioned there's a little less room behind home plate and toward the dugouts because of an extra row of seats they've put in, and I might add $200 a pop for those seats every game. So a little bit more of a chance now, it seems like, for hitters at times, but still one of the biggest areas behind home plate in all of baseball.
Particularly right behind the plate on the straight line. Bernie Williams, the hitter. He took a blistering fastball for a strike. Williams, a switch hitter, batting .340. 7 homers and 36 runs batted in. He's third in the American League in hitting. Ron Rodriguez leads at .380. Hal Morris at Kansas City .367, and Williams at .340. And he looked at another heater for strike 2. Williams has had a big series. 6 for 10, 5 singles, a double. He's also walked 3 times. He wouldn't go up the ladder and chase that one. Bernie 3 for 4 yesterday. Inside outs it down the line, foul. Let's pause for station identification. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox television network.
You're watching Red Sox baseball on Eastern and Central Maine's local sports leader. WAPI TV, Channel 5, Bangor.
No score with 1 out of the bases empty in the Yankees second. Sean McDonough with Jerry Remy. Today's game produced and directed by Tom Tedisco. Graphics producer David Corus. The ball up and in. Christine Charbonneau assisting us in the booth today. Final game of a 4-game series. It's on to Toronto for the Red Sox after today's game. We'll play 2 with the Blue Jays. The next 2 nights. We are next with you on Tuesday night. Fouled out of play to the left. Tomorrow night at Sky Dome on Nesson, there's Darryl Strawberry on deck. It'll be Tim Wakefield against Juan Guzman. An hour telecast on Tuesday night at 7 with the on-deck show at 6:30. It'll be Steve Avery against Chris Carpenter. 2-2. Fouled out of play again to the left. Chased the pitch high out of the strike zone and fouled it straight back.
Good battle going right now between Bernie Williams and Pedro. Pedro trying to put him away there with a high fastball.
Another 2-2. Line to left to hit. So Williams wins that battle. He's now 7 for 11 in the series.
Well, the way he's swinging the bat right now, not many guys are able to get him out. He just put on a great battle, fouling off a lot of pitches. Finally, he'll get that fastball over the heart of the plate and slap it the other way for the base hit. 3 for 4 yesterday. Now that average up over 340, making a push on the second hitter in the league, Hal Morris. Still got a way to go before he catches him.
And he's a threat to run at first. Has 9 stolen bases. Crowd buzzing as Darryl Strawberry stands in. The runner goes, and the throw not in time. Stolen base number 10 for Bernie Williams, as he got there just ahead of Varitek's throw.
And a classic example, too, when you've got a pitcher like Pedro Martinez, Andy Pettitte working in the game, you've got to try things. You just can't sit around and go base to base. Bernie Williams picks up number 10 on the season. And good advantage that time. It was not the slide step on Martinez, had the high leg kick.
So now a runner in scoring position for New York with 1 out of the second. Ball in the dirt and a good block by Varitek. Strawberry's hitting .260 with 8 homers and 22 runs batted in. He was 0 for 4 yesterday. He's just 1 for 10 on this Yankee homestand. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Like the changeup again by Martinez. He's got a good one so far in this ball game, and he's going to need a good one with these left-handed hitters.
Just outside. Red Sox shifted around in the infield for Strawberry, with Garcia Parra playing almost directly behind second base. Added benefit of that for the Red Sox is that Williams cannot get much of a lead. When you see in the outfield, they're actually playing around the other way. Lewis, the center fielder, a couple of steps toward left. Popped up out of play to the left. No score in the bottom of the second. Strawberry trying to get the Yankees on the board. Chad Curtis to follow. Red Sox play him around to left, even though 15 of his 25 hits to the outfield have gone to right field. Not all of them have come against the pitcher with the velocity of Martinez. He tried to serve that to left field and fouled it into the stands. A nice catch made out there.
The thinking here may be, Sean, that all the changeups he's featuring to Strawberry, just like that last swing, he may just kind of try to serve it the other way. And if he goes upstairs with the fastball, they feel Strawberry might be late on that swing. Don't want to make a mistake with something soft inside.
Throw to second. And Williams is back with ease. Strawberry's only hit in his last 10 at-bats was a home run in the first game of this series on Thursday night. A solo homer, his 8th of the year. Strike 3, no doubt about it. Fastball, and Strawberry watched it for the second out of the inning. A third strikeout of the afternoon for Martinez.
Now, previous to that last pitch, everything that had been away from Strawberry was the off-speed pitch, the changeup. So you see the ball away, you think it's a changeup. Instead, it's the fastball right by him. Catches him looking at the fastball at the outside corner. He set that pitch up a long time ago, early in the at-bat.
Chad Curtis stands in. He is slumping, 2 for his last 23. And when you're having a tough time, pitchers make nasty pitches to you, as Martinez did there on the outside corner. 271 the average of Curtis. 5 homers and 25 runs batted in. He was 0 for 2 yesterday, but walked twice, and the Yankees lost to the Red Sox. No score. The Yankees are threatening in the second with Bernie Williams at second base and 2 outs. And the count now of a ball and a strike on Curtis. That pitch nowhere near where Pedro wanted it.
Looks like the curveball slipped out of his hand.
Late swing by Curtis. And Pettitte has something he wants to talk about with Pedro.
Well, you see Nomar coming in too. Maybe they think that Bernie Williams, who's been at second base a long time, maybe has the signs, might be given location. So looks like Pettitte wants to switch that up right now. And of course, you've got to let your middle infielders know. Bernie's been out there a long time, seen a lot of pitches. So if you're an intelligent base runner, you get to know what the sequence of signs is, and you got to change it up.
Struck him out. The bat goes flying down by the third base coach, Willie Randolph. Pedro Martinez has struck out 4 in 2 innings. And after 2, there's no score on the 68 Sports Red Sox television network. It's our weekly message from the maniacal one, Chuck Wozleski. Today we look at Red Sox pitching numbers, April versus May. Red Sox starters certainly have been nowhere near as good in May as they were in April, but relievers have significantly lowered their earned run average from 5.13 down to 2.52. And unfortunately for the relievers, that comes during a time when they've had a lot more work, because the starters have not been as dependable getting late into the ball game as they were early on.
And those 9 wins by relievers in the first month of the season, April, a lot of that, those comeback wins at Fenway, and guys vulturing wins in those situations.
Darren Bragg begins the third against Andy Pettitte. He took a breaking ball for a strike. Darren's down to 248. 3 homers and 17 runs batted in. Strike 2, 0-2. Bragg, then the number 9 hitter Jason Varitek, and the top of the order Darren Lewis. Andy Pettitte is not allowed to hit through 2 innings. The Red Sox have had just 1 base runner on a 4-pitch walk to Valentin in the first. Bragg is 1 for 9 in the series. And he laid off that one.
Bragg's average actually higher against left-handers. Got 30 at-bats against lefties, 267. 91 at-bats against right-handers, 242.
And he strikes out. On a pitch down and in. So Pettitte is matching Martinez strikeout to strikeout. Each pitcher with 4 Ks now.
Well, in the early going, this has the potential to be a lot of long days for hitters here this afternoon at Yankee Stadium. Pettitte, a good shot fastball down and in on Bragg. He's already got his 4th strikeout.
Jason Varitek takes strike one. Switch hitting catcher. Number 9 hitter today, batting .259. The homer and 9 runs batted in. He's hitting .273, right-handed. Strike 2.
Well, you can see after the 7 walks last time out against the White Sox for Pettitte, he's really concentrating today on getting ahead of these Red Sox hitters.
Varitek did not swing at that breaking ball in the dirt. No score, top of the 3rd. Andy Pettitte has retired 6 Red Sox hitters in a row. Broken bat looper over the head of the first baseman, Pedro Martinez. Varitek around first, and he'll hold up as O'Neill got to the ball quickly. So a broken bat base hit, and each team has 1 hit now.
You take them any way you can get them this afternoon against both of these pitches. That ball appeared to hit Varitek's bat right at about the label. Sounded like a crack, but he's able to serve it out there over the head of Tino Martinez. Wisely holds up at first base. O'Neill did a good job getting over to the stands and getting that ball back in.
Darren Lewis, the batter. He struck out swinging in the first. Inside corner, strike 1. Lewis is 3 for 13 in this series now. Breaking ball in the dirt, scooped out by Girardi.
Well, we saw Bernie Williams off trying to steal. Let's see if Red Sox try to move a runner with maybe a hit and run.
With a significantly better average against left-handed pitchers this year, .323. Brocious will step in front of the bag at 3rd. Darren will bunt occasionally, pitch in the dirt. Another good block by Girardi. Well, now's the time to count. If you were inclined to put a play on, this might not be a bad time for Jimmy Williams.
Then I hope you get contact if you do from Lewis, because if not, Varitek could be out by 20 feet. You have to stay close at first base because of the pickoff move on a hit and run. You don't get a real good jump like if you're stealing a base. And of course, Varitek not with terrific speed.
Ball 3. So it's 3-1 on Lewis. Away and got a piece of the catcher Girardi with that foul ball.
.3-1 fastball right down on the left foot, it looked like for Joe Girardi.
Will Varitek run on a 3-2 pitch? Lewis struck out on a 3-2 pitch in the first. Varitek is not running. It's ball 4. So a bloop single and a walk, and the Red Sox have 2 men on with 1 out here in the 3rd in a scoreless game. Pettitte has walked 2. The other one went to John Valentin on 4 pitches in the first. Well, after having the knack for coming up with a big hit time and time again as a team in the month of April, the Red Sox have fallen way short in that regard in the month of May. Chuck Wozleski also told us that the Red Sox are hitting .206 with men in scoring position in May. So not only has the pitching struggled lately, but they have not been able to come up with the timely hit. Valentin, one of the biggest offenders in that category. He is 2 for 15 in this month with runners in scoring position. That's a 133 average. Ball down and in. 2-0.
Pettitte's pretty much had his way with Valentin throughout his career. 1 for 15 is John. Of course, he drew that walk in that first inning. Good hit his position now. 2-0. Man in second base and first base. Man in scoring position. Pick out a pitch and let it go.
Ball 3. For Pettitte, who walked 7 Chicago White Sox in his last outing, is experiencing control trouble again here in the third.
Just a couple of hitters ago, I said that he was getting in front of Red Sox hitters, and all of a sudden that's gone. Maybe I'll say it again.
Go right ahead. And there's a strike. Valentin will be followed by Nomar Garciaparra. Now the 3-1 pitch. Line to left, a base hit. Pettitte will be held at third as Curtis gets it back in. Valentin got a hitter's count and lined a base hit. Red Sox second hit of the ball game, and they have loaded the bases for Garciaparra.
Well, no matter how good a pitcher you are, it's awful tough to work when you're behind 2-0, 3-1. And on the 3-1 count, Valentin being aggressive with the line drive to left field. Good charge put on by Curtis. He does an excellent job charging the ball in the outfield, and Wendell Kim had the whole Pettitte at third base. Not an RBI with a man in scoring position, but he does get the hit.
Now Nomar, who popped to short his first time up. No score, but the Red Sox with a great chance to take the lead here in the top of the third. Ball 1 high. Pettitte joined the mound by his battery mate Joe Girardi and by the pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre. Nomar does not have a grand slam in his brief major league career, but he has been very productive, hitting .435 with the bases full.
And he swung the bat surprisingly well as it's coming off the Sabre list. There's a couple of hits, could actually have a few more with any kind of luck at all. He's hit a number of line drives.
Among the regulars, he's been the Red Sox best hitter this year with men in scoring position, batting .341. A bullet down the left field line. That will score at least 2. Pettitte and Lewis score. Valentin to third on a double by Nomar Garciaparra, and the Red Sox lead 2-0.
RBI number 28 and 29 for Nomar, and that's why Jimmy Williams wants him hitting third. He feels that he and Vaughn, the two best hitters on this team, should hit 3 and 4 in the lineup when they're healthy. And it certainly helps out right here. Bases loaded, gets the fastball inside. Remember, he buried him inside the first time up. That time not quite as far inside, and Nomar gets him back with the line drive. Tried the same pitch, but didn't get it in quite far enough.
Now Mo Vaughn, the batter. Ground ball scores another run. Fastball inside, and Mo backing off the plate. And this is one of those at-bats when Mo really has to put the ball in play. He struck out for his league-leading 59th time in the first inning. The infield is back all the way around. The third baseman Brocious a couple of steps behind the bag. Everybody else very deep. Bounced foul. Far end of the Yankee dugout.
Yankees have given the Red Sox another run with that infield back. The only place that Valentin probably would not be able to go is a ball back to the pitcher or maybe to third base and Brocious, and certainly can't go on the strikeout. So you're right, Sean. You make contact here, pretty good chance you got another run.
And Mo has hit 115 in the month of May with men in scoring position.
Yeah, a little change now. Yankees pull the infield in with the count going 1-1.
Infield in, and the pitch almost went to the backstop. Slipped out of the hand of Pettitte. Girardi had to be quick to reach up for it.
A couple of curveballs slipped today. One by Martinez, and this one here by Pettitte, almost back to the backstop for another run. I was kind of surprised anyway to see that infield back, especially facing Pedro Martinez today. You want to drop down too many runs.
Chance for a big inning. Vaughn hits it on the ground to second. They're off at contact. Valentin safe at the plate, and Girardi dropped the ball as he thought about a throw to first. Valentin off with the crack of the bat. He scored ahead of the throw from Knobloch. It looked like they had a play at first, and then Girardi had the ball come squirting out of his hands, and the Red Sox lead 3-0.
Knobloch had no chance to get Valentin, and the reason for that is because of the left-handed hitter hitting. Brocious was pulled way over towards shortstop, so Valentin could get himself a huge lead at third base. And they really had no chance at all of getting Valentin. There's the head first slide. Girardi can't hold on to the ball to get at least one out. And see how far down the line Valentin is? That's because nobody's close to him. The third baseman is way over towards shortstop.
So fielder's choice and a run batted in from Mo Vaughn. First and third now with one out. 3-0 Red Sox. In the third, and the batter is Jim Leyritz, who looked at a ball high. The RBI for Vaughn is 36th of the year. Leyritz takes ball two. Pettitte working behind in the count to virtually every hitter. Leyritz grounded to short as the leadoff hitter last inning. And he pops it foul. Straight back. 2-1. Check swing, and a ball low. Was not a swing, said first base umpire Al Clark. So once again a hitter's count for the Red Sox. 3 balls and 1 strike for Leyritz. And then he fouls one to the backstop. So now it's 3-2 with 1 out. We'll see if Jimmy Williams has Mo Vaughn running from first.
Well, if he does, and there's a strikeout, you got to stop between first and second and give Nomar a chance to score on the double steal. You can't be tagged out at second base if it's a strike him out, potential throw him out situation.
3-0 Red Sox. Still just 1 out here in the top of the third. Payoff pitch. Vaughn is not going. Broken bat down to third. Brocious thought about the plate, then goes to second, and a run scores. Looked like if he had just tried to go 5-4-3, they might have had a chance to get out of the inning with a double play, but he was all confused down there at third base And the Red Sox lead 4-0 as Garcia Parra scored and Leyritz reached on a fielder's choice.
The reason Brocious was confused, he had no catch to throw the ball to. Girardi was heading up to back up the play at first base. He thought he was going to go for 2. Now watch him take a peek home. There's no catcher home. Now I've got to go for the deuce, and it's too late. Strange play. Girardi was heading up that first baseline to back up the throw from the second baseman, and Brocious wanted to come home.
I think Girardi assumed, and perhaps correctly, that Brocious just went for the double play. They were out of the inning. The one hopper down to third. So give Leyritz an RBI on the fielder's choice. The 19th run batted into the year for Leyritz. 4-0 Boston. Leyritz at first with 2 outs for the 8th batter of the inning, Troy O'Leary, was called out on strikes last inning. And he's ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. Pettitte wanted that pitch. Pettitte has thrown 33 pitches in this inning, 59 already for the ball game, with 2 outs in the 3rd. Line to left, off the end of the bat, a base hit. Leyritz to second. That's Jim carrying his pillow with him along the base path there. He's got a suitcase along for the ride between first and second.
John, once again, one of those hitters count, a 2-0 count. It certainly helps O'Leary, the left-hander, working against a left-hander. He knows he's going to get fastball. It's a little bit high in the zone, but when you know you're going to get a certain pitch, you become a better hitter. Drops it in front of Chad Curtis. Long inning here for the Red Sox.
And Lou Merloni is the 9th batter of the inning. He'd like to extend it with a hit. He takes a strike. Merloni ended last inning with a ground ball to Scott Brocious at third. The Red Sox lead 4-0. They haven't done a great job of supporting Pedro Martinez this season offensively, but they've given him 4 today. Pettitte clearly is not as sharp as he usually is.
Everything up now. Fastballs up, breaking ball up, falling behind hitters. And this happened in a hurry because he was very sharp in the first 2 innings.
And there's Leyritz with luggage. Strike 2, 1-2.
He's one of those packs, you know, you put around.
Yes, little pouch.
Yeah. I mean, give that to somebody.
He's carrying the glove. He's got the pad.
Wallet, car keys.
1-2 pitch is lifted to center. Williams started back. Now he's charging in. He dives and can't get it. Leyritz scores. O'Leary stops at third on a blip hit by Merloni. A ball that fooled Williams off the bat. He took a step or 2 back, and that cost him, and the Red Sox lead 5-0.
Bernie Williams in center field, first of all, got a late break on this, and then when he realized it was not hit that hard by Maloney, he still didn't get going for a while. There's a couple of steps back. Now he starts to jog after it and realize I got to get on this thing full bore, and still can't make the catch. So some breaks certainly this inning for the Red Sox, and they've been due a few breaks. Knobloch throwing the ball wide of the plate. Bernie Williams late on that. The potential double play when Brocious wanted to come home. He had no catcher to throw to.
5-0 Red Sox. Here's Darren Bragg. Started the inning harmlessly enough by striking out. Throw to first. Merloni scampers back. Bloop hit for Merloni. Lou's 8th run batted in 16 games as a major leaguer. He's at first. O'Leary's at third for Darren Bragg. The Red Sox certainly owe the Yankees an old-fashioned stomping or two after what we saw at Fenway Park last weekend.
Yeah, they have been knocked out of games by the Yankees in a hurry. Plus yesterday, an excellent ball game here at the stadium. Terrific pitching for the Red Sox. But yeah, a big one. A nice big win would be a good way to leave Yankee Stadium on a Sunday afternoon.
Good pitch by Pettitte. One of the few times in this inning he started to hit her with a strike. Of course, the Red Sox could use a little momentum booster as they head for Toronto. And a lot of talk in recent days about how the wild card might be a more likely scenario for the Red Sox in terms of the postseason. Toronto figures to be a wild card contending team.
Hey, we ready now? Get it up, ready.
1-1 the count. Darren Holmes, a right-hander, has started throwing in the New York bullpen. Pettitte facing the 10th batter of the top of the third. He checks in on Merlone again. Lou has not attempted a stolen base since coming up from Pawtucket.
You get to 2 strikes. If it gets to 2 strikes with Bragg, you might want to try it. You might want to try the double steal.
Pitch boxed around a bit by Girardi. The run scored by Leyritz really should count as a couple of runs with all the stuff that he brought around third with him. He was running for 2.
Some guys just don't like to give up their stuff. You know, they like to keep it with them. I mean, see a lot of guys give it to the first base coach and the third base coach, but not Leyritz. It's his stuff, and he's going to keep it.
That's right. That's my stuff, and I'm sticking with it. Bragg bounced it foul. Of course, Dave Joust already has a variety of gear down there at first base because it has been a long inning. So as guys reach first, he collects gloves and pads. You can see in his left hand he's got a pad. He's got one on the right hand. Starting his own sporting goods store down there.
Who did that gig? George Carlin moving his stuff all over? Yeah.
Up the middle, a base hit. A big hit by Bragg with 2 outs to bring in O'Leary and make it 6-0.
Well, he gets a couple of strikes on Bragg, can't put him away. He threw the breaking ball and was not a shot breaker, just kind of a rolling breaking ball, and Bragg takes advantage of that with the base hit up the middle. Once again, that breaking ball up about belt high. And a little chat here now for Martinez to get some more time for Holmes out in the bullpen.
Saw Joe Torre give the signal to go out there and chat while Mel Stottlemyre checked with the bullpen, and Darren Holmes is ready. So it'll be a very short outing for Andy Pettitte. 2 2/3 innings. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Bell Atlantic. Darren Holmes will be the new pitcher when we come back. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
Rangers and the Orioles at Camden Yards. Sean and Jerry were talking about Juan Gonzalez earlier. He's done it again. Juan has gone deep. Although B.J. Surhoff almost caught this one, just dropped over the wall for a granny. 4 more RBI for Gonzalez. He now has 16 homers, 70 runs batted in. 5-1 Rangers. A reminder for those of you on the flagship, 68 Sports Night with the Emmy Award-winning Butch Stearns after the game. Back to Sean and Jerry.
Back here at Yankee Stadium, a 6-0 Red Sox lead in the top of the third inning. Use your phone and check out the most convenient way to purchase Red Sox tickets 24 hours a day through the new Touchstone ticketing system by calling 617-482-4SOX. This new and safe system lets fans purchase tickets at their own convenience any time of day.
Well, the Red Sox will have struggled with Andy Pettitte throughout his major league career. Put a pounding on the Yankee lefty today, and here's the new pitcher, right-handed reliever Darren Holmes.
Appearance number 16 for Holmes, a record of 0-1. He signed a 3-year deal in the offseason with the Yankees, coming over from Colorado. Last year, most of his work was out of the bullpen for the Rockies, but he did make a few starts. And this is almost like a start here this afternoon.
Pettitte out after 2 2/3 innings, having given up 6 runs on 6 hits. He's responsible for the 2 base runners. Merlone at second, Bragg at first. Jason Varitek started this rally with 1 out with a bloop single over the head of the first baseman Pedro Martinez. Holmes' first pitch, a borderline strike. Veritek batting for the second time in the inning. Has a hit while batting right-handed. He'd like to collect one hitting from the left side. He's a .231 hitter left-handed this year. One ball and one strike.
Well, Pettitte really lost it in a hurry this afternoon. I mean, he came out very sharp the first 2 innings, got Bragg to strike out this inning, then kind of almost a broken bat base hit by Veritek is what started everything for the Red Sox. And it was all downhill from there for Andy Pettitte.
In the dirt from Holmes. Holmes, 32 years old, from Fletcher, North Carolina. Started his career in the Dodger organization, went on to the Brewers, Colorado, now the Yankees. At one time he was the closer out of the bullpen for Colorado. Veritek rips one to right. That ball's in for a hit. It'll go past O'Neill to the wall. Maloney has scored. Bragg's being waved around. Knobloch with the relay. It is cut off. It's a 2-run double by Veritek and an 8-0 Red Sox lead.
Well, Sean, you mentioned they've had a tough time scoring runs for Pedro Martinez. Well, he's got a few now. Boy, this ball a rocket by Veritek. It was quickly by O'Neill on the line, and once they get by him, that means 2 more runs. 8-run inning now for the Red Sox. That fastball's away from Veritek. He still hooks the ball on the line and gets it past O'Neill for the double and 2 more RBI. His 10th and 11th of the season.
2 hits in the inning for Veritek, a single and a double, one from each side of the plate. He has scored a run and driven in 2 in this inning. And Darren Lewis takes a breaking ball for ball 1. He walked and scored earlier in this inning. He struck out back in the first.
That, by the way, the best pitch for Holmes, that curveball.
So 8 runs charged to Pettitte, and now Holmes responsible for the runner Veritek at second. The Red Sox did not have a hit in the first 2 innings against Pettitte. And after he struck out Bragg to begin this inning, he had retired 6 in a row. And there's a good pitch on the corner, 2-1. Strike. Kind of half-heartedly raised his right hand.
Should have been if it was, I don't know what it was called by Joyce.
Scoreboard has it as a ball. And apparently it's 3-1. Foul ball out of play to the right.
And this inning's kind of quieted things down around the stadium.
Just the way the Yankees quieted the big crowds at Fenway last weekend with the back-to-back throttlings the Red Sox endured. And that's ball 4. Holmes went to a breaking ball on the 3-2 pitch. Lewis has walked twice in the inning. Here comes the 13th batter of the inning, John Valentin. He was working on a perfect day to this point. He walked in the first, singled and scored in this inning. Fastball high. Well, the Red Sox have been up forever. When you think about Veritek's bloop hit over the head of Martinez, that seemed like it was about an hour ago.
In my opinion, Sean, that's what they get for starting that game at 9:45 the other night. Beat them yesterday and make those guys stay in the field a long time this afternoon.
The next pitch thrown by Holmes will be the 56th pitch of the inning, thrown by the duo of Pettitte and Holmes. 1-2 on Valentin. Eight runs, 7 hits for the Red Sox. No runs, 1 hit for the Yankees. I wonder if Pedro Martinez feels like going back out to the bullpen to warm up again.
Well, it has been a long time since he made his last pitch. He'll get a few extra tosses between innings. Usually get 8. You're supposed to get 8, but after an inning like this, they'll let him throw probably as many as he wants.
Girardi halfway to the dugout. That's twice recently here where Jim Joyce has sort of come up about a quarter of the way with the arm and stopped.
I don't know if there's a history between Joyce and Holmes, but he's given him nothing at all. There's been about 3 of them this inning.
Check swing, foul ball over by the Yankee dugout. Red Sox, we are told, have been up for 29 minutes. And another full count with 2 outs. The runners will go. Pettitte from second and Lewis from first. Runners go, and Valentin took ball 4 high. So Holmes has certainly not stopped the bleeding. He's faced 3 batters, and all 3 have reached. He gave up the double to Pettitte and back-to-back walks to Lewis and Valentin. For the second time this inning, Nomar Garciaparra bats with the bases loaded. He knocked in the first 2 runs with his double down the left field line. Ball 1 low. Nomar popped the short in the first inning. Well, this would be a great time for him to come up with his first career grand slam, make it a 12-run inning. Only better than that against the Yankees is a 13-run inning. Leo White of our 68 Sports crew tells us we're 10 hours away now from the curfew and gaining on it rapidly. Well, Nomar was thinking about the grand slam there. And a healthy hack at the 2-1 breaking ball. 2-2 the count. You know, so much was made about the lopsided scores last week, and people pointed to those and said, well, here's an example of the Yankees are that much better than the Red Sox. You know, sometimes big scores can be an aberration. That's chopped up the middle. Tough play. Knobloch has to go to first. Wide of first, and another run scores. Pettitte in to make it 9-0. Second hit of the inning for Garciaparra. He has 3 runs batted in the inning.
Well, if the Red Sox win this ball game today, Sean, you split here in New York, and of course the Yankees winning 2 out of 3 there. So the Red Sox only 1 down from a team that, you know, is to this point has been the best team in baseball. So, and you're right about the big scores. I mean, you get into situations like this. You're talking about guys pitching in a game right now that you know, is probably the 25th guy on your ball club. So they are at times misleading.
Mo Vaughn bounces 1 foul. Mo reached on a fielder's choice but picked up an RBI earlier in this inning. Well, that's right. I mean, if we're going to draw far-reaching conclusions based on the scores of those 2 Yankee wins last week, and then what conclusion do we draw here today? In a week, all of a sudden, the Red Sox have become a dominant team, and the Yankees have no chance to eventually catch back up to them after the Red Sox go zooming past them in the standings. up and in. Bases loaded for Mo. 9 runs in here in the third. This could be the time to enforce your rule with Pedro pitching. Decline the rest of your at-bats if you have the big lead. That's well hit foul. Through the 5-hole of first base coach Dave Joust.
How much equipment has Joust got now? Has he been able to get rid of some of that stuff?
I think he has shed some of it. He still has the pad on the right hand. That might have explained why he was a little slow to get out of the way of that one, though. He's probably worn out from lugging all that extra equipment. See, there his back's hurting him a little bit.
Actually, those guys have to go back and get this stuff because they hit again.
That's right. That's probably why he has gotten rid of 1 or 2 of the pads. Dave needs to get a better read on those foul balls, though. That last one, he actually went running right toward it. That had to skip out of the way as it went through his legs. 9-0 Red Sox in the third. Vaughn sends one off the glove of Martinez into right field. Lewis has crossed the plate. Here comes Valentin. It's 11-0 Red Sox. 3 runs batted in the inning for Vaughn.
Martinez thought he was going to make the play on the backhand, but the last hop from Vaughn will explode right up over the glove for Tino Martinez, and Mo had a couple of more RBI. That's 3 now on the afternoon. Top spin ground ball, and watch this last hop right up over the glove of Martinez. And the beat goes on.
Leyritz, the 16th batter of the inning. He takes a strike. Red Sox have scored 11 runs in the inning on 9 hits. There have been 3 walks in the inning. Leyritz picked up an RBI when he reached on a fielder's choice, and he scored a run. So every Red Sox player in the lineup, with the exception of Vaughn, has scored a run in this inning. Varitek, Lewis, and Valentin have scored twice in the inning. There's another one of those close pitches that Holmes can't seem to get from Jim Joyce. Leyritz up there with Garcia Parra at third and Vaughn at first. Leyritz pulls one foul. Bidding to make it a 14-run inning.
Check out the 11 under the 3 for the third inning on the scoreboard. Doesn't look right, does it?
No. No, they had trouble squeezing in the number 11 in the run column. Little lob, and Knobloch is there. A 75-pitch inning for Pettitte and Holmes. 42 minutes the Red Sox were at the plate. They sent 16 men to the plate. They scored 11 runs on 9 hits and left 2. To the bottom of the third, 11-0 Boston on the 68 Sports Red Sox television network.
Back at Yankee Stadium, the Red Sox with an 11-run third inning and have the 11-0 lead in this ball game. This August 11th is Wally the Beanbag Buddy Day at Fenway Park. The first 15,000 fans, 15 and under, receive a Wally the Beanbag Buddy compliments of Fenway Franks. To order your tickets, call 617-482-4SOX.
You know, quite an inning for the Red Sox in the top of the third. They scored 11 runs on 9 hits. Pedro Martinez has an 11-run lead with which to work. Scott Brocious begins the Yankee third. First ball swinging. He rolls it to short. Garcia Parra throws him out. Brocious went up there hitting .337. Fourth in the American League in hitting.
Here's an off-balance throw by Nomar, too. That sidearm throw, and it looked like had a little something on it. Looked comfortable making it.
You wonder if they might give him a short day today with the big lead. Let him get a little more rest for that shoulder with the score 11-0. Joe Girardi, the batter.
If you may see the starters, especially Nomar, maybe go another 2, 3, 4 innings in this one. Then as you get to the 6th, maybe make the move. But you may make it earlier with him, Sean, as you mentioned, because of that shoulder.
Strike 2, 0-2 on Girardi. Joe is hitting .244. 9 runs batted in.
Joe.
To center field, and Darren Lewis is there. 2 outs. Let's pause for station identification. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox television network.
You're watching Red Sox baseball on Eastern and Central Maine's local sports leader, WABI-TV, Channel 5, Bangor.
Red Sox lead 11-0. 11 runs in an inning, a season high for the Red Sox. Their previous high, 7 runs in the 9th inning. Opening day, the home opener at Fenway Park against Seattle on April 10th. Chuck Knobloch rounded to second his first time up. He took ball 1 in this at bat from Pedro Martinez. Now 1-1. It's also the shortest outing for Andy Pettitte, 2 2/3 innings, since he also went 2 2/3 against Texas July 30th of 1996. That does not include when he had to leave a ball game after getting hit in the face with a line drive, nor does it include a scheduled 2-inning start late last year as they were just tuning him up for the postseason. It's the shortest outing for him since the end of July 1996, when he's been knocked out due to his ineffectiveness. And Knobloch had to spin out of the way of that inside fastball.
Pedro's got to go after this now like it's a 0-0 ball game. He's coming off a tough start the last time out, wants to get back on the right track. It's nice to have those runs, but he has to make believe it's 0-0.
No, he mentioned that he had not been well supported by the Red Sox. They'd averaged 3.7 runs in his starts, while scoring an average of 5 runs for the other starters. That'll change dramatically today. Knobloch popped it up behind the plate. And out of play. 3-2 is the count. Tomahawk to right center, and that one will find the gap. Off the wall on a hop. Knobloch to second with a double.
Well, he's played some great baseball. As a matter of fact, the best offense he featured all season has been against the Red Sox. Almost had a hit in the first at bat. Martinez deflected it to Maloney, who got him out. Now look at him get on top of that high fastball. Hands above the baseball and shoots a line drive past Darren Bragg for the double. He's a tough out. Only struck out 19 times. One of the toughest guys in the league to strike out.
And his average still a little bit below what you'd expect. 272 starting the day. Generally pencil him in for right around 300. 11-0. The Red Sox have the lead. Derek Jeter took a close pitch for ball 1. Jeter struck out swinging in the first. Knobloch at second base with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. The double is 10th of the year. There's a strike at the knees in the outside corner. First pitch looked better than that one. And Jeter straightened up. Well, he's keeping the tabloids busy these days with his romance with the singer Mariah Carey.
I keep looking down in the family section. I want to see if she's at the ball game, but I have not seen it yet.
Down the line, backhanded stab by Valentin. He'll try to throw, not in time. Terrific stop by Valentin. Probably would have been better served to hang on to the ball. He had no chance to get Jeter. Mo Vaughn made a nice play at the other end to prevent that from bouncing by him and having a run score.
Here's what you see more often from first baseman. When there's no chance at all to get an out, you got to come off that bag and block the ball. And this time it'll save a run. That's a great play by Valentin on the dive, but really had no chance to throw out Jeter. There's Mo coming off the bag and blocks the ball, saves a run as Knobloch has to stay at third base.
So with 2 outs here in the third, the Yankees are trying to start the long comeback process. Feel like I'm back at the College World Series all of a sudden.
You've had a couple of dandies the last few days.
Unbelievable. O'Neill struck out in the first inning. Pedro's fan 4. Changeup swung on and missed. O'Neill's been battling laryngitis in recent days. That played a part in his collision with Chuck Knobloch in yesterday's ball game. He had been concerned about his teammates' ability to hear him in those situations. He bounces it to second. Maloney backed up on it and threw him out. And the Yankees strand 2. After 3, 11-0 Red Sox. Back after these words from your local stations along the 68 Sports Red Sox television network.
With the 11-0 lead over New York. Well, the Red Sox travel to Toronto and face the Blue Jays tomorrow night. That game on Nesson. Game time at 7. We'll conclude the road trip on Tuesday night from Sky Dome. Red Sox on deck with your host Doug Brown. Begins at 6:30, followed by Red Sox and Blue Jays over most of our 68 Sports television network.
It seems the Red Sox will be taking a 2-game winning streak to Toronto as they lead 11-0 today. Troy O'Leary, first ball swinging, sends it to left center, and Chad Curtis makes the catch. O'Leary's now 1 for 3. He singled and scored as part of that 11-run third.
Second baseman, Lou Maroney.
Mariano Rivera, their brilliant closer. Probably won't be needed in a save situation today. Lou Maroney takes strike 1. Lou singled. A bloop hit the shallow center that knocked in a run. And he scored one of the 11 last inning. He grounded out in the second. Facing reliever Darren Holmes. The starter Andy Pettitte went 2 2/3 innings. He gave up 8 runs all earned on 6 hits and 2 walks. He struck out 4. He threw 70 pitches over 2 2/3 innings, 37 of them strikes. Red Sox scored 11 runs last inning without a home run. Brocious to Martinez for the out.
I was looking at Maloney's numbers. He doesn't have very many at bats at all, but he's already got 8 RBI. So he's making those base hits count. Big one in the game yesterday.
He was saying yesterday he came out to do his before the game running. Likes to run out to the outfield wall and run back. He said after he did that once, he realized that wasn't a good idea when he started getting pelted by debris from the fans here at Yankee Stadium.
Rookie mistake.
He was probably humming "I Love New York" all the way back to the dugout. The 1-strike pitch to Darren Bragg is a ball high. Darren singled to center, drove in a run last inning, scored one of the 11. He batted twice last inning. He started the inning by striking out. Looping breaking ball, 2 balls and 1 strike. such a long third inning that Jerry Remy is already heading for the hot dogs.
That breakfast was what now? About 3 hours ago, so there's something to hold you over till that plane ride.
Charter flight up to Toronto. Breaking ball low, 3-2.
Hope our pigeons don't return to the booth before I had a chance to eat this hot dog.
There you go. You're already on what, your fourth beverage of the day. There you got them all lined up. Left side, tough play, and Jeter could not make it. Bragg has his second hit. How would you rate the Yankee Stadium hot dog as compared to others in Major League Baseball?
Well, I don't get them in every place, Sean. I have not had a hot dog in every ballpark in the big leagues, but the Yankee dogs are good. I like them. Second one of the series for me. Had one during the rain delay the other night.
Had to do that.
There's a Yankee dog right here. Mustard and relish.
It's not a huge dog, but enough to tie you over. Pettitte sends a fly ball to right. Didn't catch all of that one. O'Neill the catch. That ends the inning. On to the bottom of the fourth. The Red Sox 11. The Yankees nothing. That sounds wonderful. On the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
Scoreboard 11-0 Red Sox lead. Log on to RedSox.com and check out the newly expanded Red Sox Cyber Store. Now you can purchase the same stuff available at Fenway Park online 24 hours a day from your own home. RedSox.com is also a great way to securely purchase Red Sox tickets and get the latest information and team news. Red Sox baseball.
What a game. What an inning the Red Sox had in the third when they scored 11 runs. They lead 11-0. Bottom of the fourth. Pedro Martinez leads off against Pedro Martinez. No relation. Middle third of the order for the Yankees. They left two men on last inning. Pedro misses down and in. Tino popped out to the catcher. Pettitte in foul ground near the Red Sox dugout. Back in the second. Glenn Wilburn of the Red Sox Public Relations Office tells us that the 11 runs in one inning, the most the Red Sox have scored in an inning since August 21st of 1986, when they scored 12 times in an inning at Cleveland, the old ballpark. That's line to center, and Lewis makes the catch. You'll recall that was a 24-5 Red Sox win. They scored 12 in the sixth inning of that ball game. So it's the most runs in an inning for the Red Sox in nearly 12 years. Bernie Williams singled to left field, stole second, and was stranded in the second. And will be followed by Darryl Strawberry. Martinez finds the corner, strike one. Not only have the Yankees been sizzling all season long, but the New York Mets are now earning their share of the accolades here in New York, as they've won 8 in a row. They've been on fire ever since Mike Piazza joined them.
Of course, they'll be at Fenway next weekend, right?
Yes, they will. Mets with that 8-game winning streak, now 10 above 500. And within 6 of the Atlanta Braves, who have the best record in the National League. At the very least, the Mets very much a wild card possibility. Here at Yankee Stadium are very nice. There's the wild card situation. The Mets lead in the National League by a game over the Giants. 2 over the Cubs. Kerry Wood, another brilliant performance yesterday. There's a base hit for Williams. Second time he has singled to left. He has 2 over the 4 hits surrendered by Pedro Martinez.
Red Sox still can't get Bernie Williams out, even in an 11-0 ball game. 2 for 2 this afternoon, as he'll take this fastball the other way. Right between Valentin and Garcia Parra for the base hit. Was this some kind of a joke, or is this for real?
I don't know why they think we'd be interested in this, but the Yankees have sent us Yankee caps into the booth. Is it hat day today?
It must be. I don't know, unless they're just giving them to us. Oh, look at this. Mine signed by Bucky Dent.
Strawberry takes the ball in the dirt. You want mine?
No, I don't. No, it's okay.
There are the hats. Sure. Strawberry in the hole. Maloney will go to first for the out. 2 down. Bernie Williams to second. Although it might be a good thing to carry with us on the way out of here in the interest of personal safety.
Yeah, we could wear it to as far as the team bus and then maybe give it away once we get on the bus.
Flip it into the crowd. Chad Curtis, the hitter. He struck out swinging in the second. Ball 1 just missed. Red Sox lead 11-0. They about hit the Yankees 10-4. Neither team has made an error. Curtis hits it in the air along the right field line. 3 Red Sox there. Maloney actually hip checked Vaughn into the tarp, and they could not make a play.
Now this is getting out of hand now. This is the second day in a row Maloney's knocked Vaughn over on that top. It happened in the game yesterday, and this looked more like a clip this time than anything else. Not much foul territory down that first base line. That's 15 yards, isn't it?
Yeah, that was clipping. Should be a yellow flag on that play. Maloney must be solidly put together for his size, because that's tough to do, knock Mo down. Line drive, base hit. They're going to send Williams around, and now the late stop sign thrown up by Willie Randolph as the throw is cut off. Down by 11. No need to take a chance on a well-hit ball to left field. Randolph wisely stopped Williams. Curtis has a hit. For the second time in as many innings, the Yankees have 2 base runners with 2 outs. Well, we talked about collisions. And Paul O'Neill had laryngitis yesterday, and Knobloch didn't hear him, and Knobloch got hit hard. There have been a lot of collisions over by that tarp. Scott Brocious, breaking ball for a strike. Brocious grounded a short last inning. In the dirt and dug out by Veritek. We mentioned the success of the Mets already here in New York, though they're wondering what's going to happen when Todd Hundley comes back. Who's going to catch? Where will Hundley or Piazza play? What happens to other players if Hundley or Piazza takes their position? Line to left, that's a hit. Little flare that fell in front of O'Leary brought home Williams, and the Yankees are on the board. It's 11-1. Brocious is having a big year.
Well, we talked about keeping the fire for Martinez, making believe it's a 0-0 game. Since the 11 runs, he's given up 3 hits in this inning and 2 last innings, so 5 hits total since the Red Sox have given the 11-run lead. Brocious with the base hit to drive in a run, his 30th RBI, and this all coming out of the 8th spot in the batting order, hitting close to 340 with 30 RBI.
The Red Sox lead 11-1. Joe Girardi looked at ball 1. Been up and down the last couple of years for Brocious. Girardi sends it out of play to the right. He made an out his first time up. Talk about Brocious. Last year for Oakland, he had 203. And the year before that, he had 304. And he's just an even numbered year kind of guy.
Well, whoever did the scouting for Brocious did a heck of a job. I don't think they probably expected to get this kind of season, hitting close to 340, but he's certainly not a 204 hitter either, although he was just 1 year.
Yes. Well, it might be a case of a change of scenery doing a couple of players good, because he was a part of that trade for Kenny Rogers. Rogers really struggled in the spotlight of New York. He's had a much better season in Oakland. Some guys thrive on playing in New York, where the intensity is turned up several notches. Perhaps Brocious is one of those players. He's at first. Chad Curtis at second. Still a long way to go in this one. Bottom of the fourth. The Yankees trying to chip away. Going on the 3-2 pitch. Garcia-Parra goes to first for the out. 1 run in the fourth for New York. After 4, the Red Sox 11, the Yankees 1 on the 68 Sports Red Sox television network. Sox lead 11-1 as we head to the 5th inning. Friends, don't miss your chance to select the best players for the 1998 All-Star team. Come to friendly Fenway, watch a game, and cast your vote. All-Star voting ends June 14th. Red Sox baseball.
What a game.
Darren Holmes, the reliever, getting ready to pitch the 5th. They'll face the top of the order: Darren Lewis, John Valentin, and Nomar Garcia-Parra. Seattle leads Tampa today 7-2. They're in the 6th in St. Petersburg. Minnesota leads Anaheim 5-0 in the 4th. Oakland 4, Kansas City 1. Out in Kansas City in the middle innings, Lewis walked twice. Both walks came during the 3rd inning, and he scored twice. He struck out in the 1st. All of his at-bats against the starter Pettitte. How about Randy Johnson the other night? All those scouts at the ball game in Tampa to watch him pitch. Lots of trade rumors swirling around. He goes out there through a couple pitches 100 miles an hour. Seems like this year his performances depend strictly upon his motivation.
Yeah, that's what we're reading in the newspaper. Obviously, we don't get a chance to be around Seattle very much, but I guess even Lou Piniella said, look, the best way if you want to get out of here is pitch well, so somebody will take you and give us a good deal. So he turned it up a notch the other night. Talk here in New York about the Yankees possibly getting Randy Johnson, but it doesn't seem likely.
Well, if I were the Yankees, I certainly wouldn't give up Andy Pettitte, despite what happened today, to get Johnson, who might just stay for the rest of this year. Paul O'Neill has the fly ball in right, 1 out. And how much better is Johnson than Pettitte anyway, and to run the risk of having him just for the end of this season wouldn't seem to make much sense. But we are in the era of you do almost everything you can to win right now. Mets decided it was worth giving away 3 top prospects. Even though it was possible he might just have Mike Piazza for 120 games.
A lot of factors too, especially here in New York. You got the Yankees in first place, getting a lot of the headlines in the early season. Now the Mets make the big deal for Piazza. They're controlling the back page now, so sometimes it's more than even just winning the games, especially here in New York.
1-1 the count on John Valentin. He's had a perfect day. 2 walks and a single. He has scored twice. He scored twice during the 11-run 3rd. 11 runs, 10 hits for Boston. 1 run, 6 hits for New York. Well hit ball and right. O'Neill back by the warning track. 2 outs. Breeze looks like it's knocking the ball down on balls hit in the air to right. See the flag blowing across the field from right to left.
It's interesting, Sean, playing here for a number of years. Seems like the wind has very little effect on the baseball because the stadium is so high and the outfield section is enclosed, you know, where the scoreboards and everything are. So But it does look like today, though, the ball is being knocked down, some going to right field.
Well, this is a very high stadium all the way around, with the exception of the outfield. But from foul pole to foul pole, and a little bit beyond, the structure is very high. You see that some clouds are moving in. There is the possibility of showers here late in the afternoon. Garciaparra hits it into the right field corner. The Red Sox go in order on 3 fly balls to Paul O'Neill and right. After 4.5, the Red Sox 11, the Yankees 1. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
Storm King Highway. Cost $108 million. Route 106. Cost $32.5 million. The BMW 328i. Cost an affordable lease with scheduled maintenance included. So now you can own the road without spending a fortune. Stop dreaming. Start driving. BMW. Test drive the ultimate driving machine at your Massachusetts BMW retailer.
Troy Aikman is back to pass. He's looking. Look out. Oh, Aikman goes down.
He had a man wide open. What was he thinking?
Brute. It's all part of the game.
All right, guys. Same play.
This is cellular.
Cellular.
This is OmniPoint.
This is OmniPoint.
Introducing OmniPoint, a 100% digital system so advanced there's absolutely no static.
No static.
And so superior there's no contract.
No contract.
Polly, wanna...
OmniPoint, 100% digital, 0% hassle. Get a $129 Siemens digital PCS phone for $49.
It's time you drive to Sears. It's our tire extravaganza. Get major deals on brand name tires like the Road Handler Touring AS. Buy 3, get 1 free. Our tire extravaganza ends soon and time flies, so get in, get tires, and get rolling. Sears Auto Center.
'68 Sports welcomes you back to Yankee Stadium in New York, where the Red Sox lead 11-1 halfway through the ballgame. The Red Sox scored 11 times in the third. Pedro Martinez to Chuck Knobloch. Breaking ball missed, ball 1. Knobloch 1 for 2. He is grounded out and doubled. Derek Jeter and Paul O'Neill to follow. A couple of additional notes on the 11-run third for the Red Sox. 11 runs, the most scored in a half inning by a team in the majors this year. The Red Sox have the biggest inning of any team in the majors this season. And the 11 runs in 1 inning, the most allowed by the Yankees in 1 inning since July 2nd of 1943. When New York pitchers gave up 12 runs in the 4th inning of a 12-0 loss at Cleveland. Two and 2 the count. It has been almost 55 years since the Yankees gave up that many runs in 1 inning. That's pretty good payback for what happened last weekend. Knobloch to right. Bragg has it. 1 out.
Interleague play moves into its 2nd year when the New York Mets come to Fenway Park June 5th, 6th, and 7th. For tickets 24 hours a day, call 617-4824-SOX. Red Sox baseball.
What a game. And that should be fun. Red Sox and the Mets with the history. Which the Red Sox would really like to forget, the 1986 World Series. Derek Jeter fists one foul into the upper deck on the right side. Jeter's 1 for 2, an infield hit in his last at bat. He struck out in the first. Well, the Red Sox are in Toronto tomorrow night. This afternoon, the Blue Jays are trailing Cleveland 5-3 in the 9th. The 0-2 to Jeter. Strike 3 on the corner. That's 5 strikeouts for Martinez. His first strikeout since the second inning.
Yeah, since the Red Sox put those 11 points on the board, first time Martinez has struck out a hit. A second time he's got cheated today. Nasty pitch. 0-2 count. Picks up the outside corner. Right into the glove where Pettitte had set up. 2 quick outs here in the 5th inning.
And Paul O'Neill takes a strike. He is struck out and grounded to second. Just missed. It's tough to figure Jim Joyce back there behind the plate today. At times it looks like he's been generous to the pitchers. At other times they've thrown pitches that look to be right there that haven't been called strikes. That's a foul tip into the middle of Pettitte. 2-2.
So we've got to see third base umpire Ted Barrett umpire a number of games behind the plate now, and I think he does a great job.
Yep.
Behind home plate. Pretty big strike zone. He doesn't take any gruff from hitters or pitches.
Well, nor should he. He's a former boxing sparring partner of some of the top boxers.
And those looks pretty straight too, huh?
Yeah. That's ball 4. First walk given up by Martinez. The Yankees have had at least one base runner in every inning except the first. Pedro Martinez is 0 for 2. Fouled out the catcher and fly to center. Red Sox lead 11-1. They try to earn a split of this 4-game series. Ball 1 low to Tino Martinez. Well, Dan Duquette has said there are irons in the fire. Red Sox might be looking to improve themselves in the short run. Pitching would be the obvious area in need of improvement. Foul ball, 1-2.
Jimmy Williams is asked that question just about every day from the Boston media covering the Red Sox, and his response is, I don't know if there's anything going on. We're just always trying to upgrade the club, whether it be pitching or any position on the field. Seems like everybody here early in the season, we're just going to be into June tomorrow, right? Everybody looking for more pitching.
There isn't much out there. Foul ball back this way.
Get to a spot in the season where some of these ball clubs are out of obviously the pennant race or even the wild card race, and that's when they start to think about dealing some of their starting pitches or relief pitches they may have on their ball club that other people would have interest in.
Martinez wants a new ball as the count goes to 2-2 on Tino Martinez.
Because the closer you get to those deadlines, the higher the price.
Yes. That is usually the case. So the question would be, if you can make a deal earlier, why not do that? The price might be lower, and you have the benefit of having that player for a longer period of time in the season. Valentin racing over. No chance.
Come on, Theo.
Seems like more talk this season, though, about trades early than I can ever remember hearing. I mean, it started a couple of weeks ago with the Randy Johnson stuff, and seems like everybody talking trades.
Sometimes it takes a major trade or two to spur on others, and a lot of big trade talk since the Piazza deal. Actually, the Piazza deals. 3-2 again. All quiet in the Boston bullpen. Bullpen members were starting to feel like they were in the movie Groundhog Day, where the same thing was happening over and over again. So Saberhagen gave him that great performance yesterday. Martinez strikes out Martinez to end the inning. And the Yankees strand another. They've left 6 men on after 5. 11-1 Red Sox. Back after these words from your local stations along the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
Riding along in my automobile, my baby beside me at the wheel. We're cruising and playing the radio with no particular place to go.
The really scary thing is, you're probably paying the same amount for car insurance as they are. But at AIG, we...
Yankee Stadium, the Red Sox lead 11-1 as we head to the 6th inning. This game summary is brought to you by your New England Subaru dealers. Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive. The Red Sox scored 11 runs in the 3rd inning today, the most they've scored in one inning since 1986, when they scored 12 in an inning against Cleveland. Nomar Garciaparra 2 for 4. He's knocked in 3 runs. Pedro Martinez has allowed 1 run on 6 hits and a walk through 5 innings while striking out 6. Game summary brought to you by your New England Subaru dealers. Mo Vaughn is the batter. He's the only Red Sox starter today who has not scored a run. But he has driven in 3 runs. 2 with a single, the other on a fielder's choice. He's 1 for 3. Struck out in the 1st. 1-0 on Vaughn, facing reliever Darren Holmes, who retired the side in order last inning on 3 fly balls to right. The last 4 Red Sox batters have been retired on a fly ball to right, as Jason Varitek ended the 4th that way. Little pop-up, could be in a problem spot. No, Brosius, a nice running catch back to the infield, and the backhanded catch of it.
Brosius really covered a lot of ground to get this pop-up. Once they play Mo off the line, he's almost like in a shortstop position, and he'll go back and make the over-the-shoulder catch for the first out of the inning. He's had a heck of a year, both offensively and defensively. He's got a high error total, 8 on the season, but he's played pretty well down there.
Jim Leyritz takes ball 1 low. He's 0 for 3, but picked up an RBI when he reached on the fielder's choice. In the 3rd, he scored a run. Is the count. Now to play into the upper deck. Well, never have 55,000 at Yankee Stadium been as quiet as they have been today.
It's like a college basketball game, right? Take the crowd out of the game
Take
early.
them out of it early. That's what has happened here. Pop up for Knobloch. 2 outs. All of a sudden Holmes has retired 6 in a row. And 9 of the last 10 Red Sox hitters. Ordinarily in games like this, you see a lot of first ball swinging. Well, Knobloch having quite a conversation with the second base umpire John Hirschbeck. First ball swinging, O'Leary sends it out of play to the left.
What a change for Knobloch. All of his career with the Minnesota Twins the last couple of seasons. Of course, they really struggle. They've had a tough time putting folks in the Metrodome to watch games, and here you are now, a Yankee. It's a great tradition the Yankees have, playing in front of 55,000 people a couple times a week.
O'Leary to center, and Bernie Williams is there. Holmes has another easy 1-2-3 inning. After 5.5, still 11-1 in favor of the Red Sox on the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
The 6th, the Bo Sox, the official booster club of the Boston Red Sox, will sponsor 10 youngsters between the ages of 8 and 15 to attend former Red Sox second baseman Mike Andrews' baseball camp for the week of July 12. Just write a letter to the Bo Sox Club explaining why you would like to attend and send to Bo Sox Club Baseball Camp Contest, 4 Yorkie Way, Boston, Mass. 02215. Entries must be received no later than June the 8th.
That's coming up. Only a little over a week to get those entries in. How many words or less?
I don't think any words or less, is it?
It used to be so many words or less, but I guess no longer is that the case.
You can write a whole book now if you want.
Bernie Williams, the batter, he's 2 for 2 today. 2 singles. He has scored the only Yankee run. I know one great reason to go, because Mike Andrews is a terrific guy, and that's a great camp.
It's been in operation for a number of years now, a long time.
That's my essay.
Then you're a winner, Sean.
How old do you have to be? I think I don't quite meet the age restriction there. 8 to 15. What if you just act like an 8 to 15-year-old most of the time? One and 2 is the count. Bernie Williams, Darryl Strawberry, Chad Curtis coming up. Wonder if some of the fire went out as Pedro with this big lead. He came out throwing BBs, but he hasn't been as dominant since the Red Sox got him 11 runs.
That's probably the case. He was seemed to be all fired up those first couple of innings. Had 4 strikeouts in the first 2 innings, and then after the runs went a long time before getting 2 more strikeouts in the 5th.
Down the left field line, O'Leary charging hard, and he makes the catch. Nice play as he was quickly running out of room. So they retire Williams for the first time today. He's still 8 to 13 in the series.
Not much foul territory at all down the line here at Yankee Stadium, left field or right field line, and O'Leary going toward the fans, able to make the catch. Always helps being the left-hander, especially when you play left field, for that type of play.
Darryl Strawberry looked at the ball high. He's 0 for 2. Was called out on strikes in the 2nd, grounded to 2nd in the 4th. The Red Sox lead 11 to 1 in the 6th inning. Martinez already over 100 pitches, 108. 1 out into the 6th inning. There's a strike, 2-1. Strawberry sends that into the upper deck left side.
Even the big lead seems to take some of the enthusiasm out of the Pedro backers out there in the bleacher area.
Yeah. They're jumping up and down, holding up the Dominican flags and the K's when Pedro had his first couple of strikeouts of the game. But now they've just settled in to watch with this game as one-sided as it is. Full count now. Golfed in a center, a hit. Played cleanly by Darren Lewis. That holds Strawberry at first with a single. So the Yankees continue their streak of having had at least one base runner in every inning except the first.
Good low ball hitter is Darryl Strawberry. This is the fastball down and in, and he picks up the base hit. He's always been a devastating hitter with the pitch that's down in the zone. So Pedro get him on a fastball away after setting him up with a lot of changeups in that first at bat.
Saw John Wasden throwing in the Boston bullpen as Chad Curtis looked at ball 1. Curtis has struck out and singled to left. Well, yesterday when the Red Sox beat Hideki Irabu, that was the first loss by a Yankee starter in 14 starts. So for the second straight day, the Yankee starter is going to take a loss. After their starters went 14 in a row without suffering a loss. Unless this thing turns around in a hurry. Joe Kerrigan out at the mound. There's Irabu. Now the American League leader in earned run average despite the loss yesterday.
What a turnaround he's made from last year. A lot of people that didn't think that he would ever win at the big league level, and here he is, the top pitcher on the Yankee ball club.
Has to be difficult. Come over here, not speak the language. He's kind of a temperamental fellow anyway. Things don't go well right away. High expectations, a lot of money. You're in New York. You're pitching for George Steinbrenner. That's a lot to throw at one man. 3-0 the count now on Curtis.
You know, plus the fact he's facing better players. I mean, over there, I'm sure he just threw whatever game he wanted to. It's a little different here as far as learning the hitters, setting them up. I guess they say he's pretty explosive, though. You never know when he might flip out or something.
You wonder how much longer the Red Sox will go with Pedro today. Already well over 100 pitches. Big lead. They've been very careful to not wear him out. That's one of the reasons cited for not moving the rotation around to get him in against the Yankees last weekend. So if you're trying to limit the damage, why not have a quicker hook in a 10-run game?
I would think this inning, if he can get the next couple of outs of this inning fairly quickly, that'd be it for Martinez in this ball game.
There's so much talk about Jimmy Williams and Joe Kerrigan's decision to bypass Pedro last weekend. Not bypass him, but to not move things around to have him pitch against the Yankees. Of course, some of that was quieted when he went out and had a terrible start the next day against Toronto. He threw strike one to Scott Brocious. 1 out, 2 men on. Brocious has knocked in the only Yankee run with a base hit to left field back in the 4th. He grounded out in the 3rd. Red Sox would like the inning-ending double play. That's fouled into the upper deck on the first base side.
You know, Sean, it's always fun, obviously, to play against the Yankees, especially the Yankees being in first place. But I'll be kind of glad when this series is over and they get refocused on winning baseball games against these other teams, because that's pretty much what it's going to come down to. The Yankees continue to play the way they have. It's going to be a wild card for everybody else. So, and that team you're playing tomorrow night, they've made a run.
And they could well be wild card competition. A smash down to 3rd. Valentin knocked it down. And he steps on the bag for the out. 2 down. Strawberry forced out at 3rd. Curtis moves up to 2nd, and Brocious is safe on the fielder's choice.
Ball hit hard by Brocious. Second time he's hit the ball well in this game, and fortunately for Valentin, he can scoop it up and tag 3rd to get the 2nd out of the inning. No double play, but you do get an out.
2 men on with 2 outs for the number 9 hitter, Joe Girardi. He has flied to center and grounded to short. 11-1 Red Sox in the 6th. Breaking ball low. Well, the Red Sox head to Toronto after the game. The homestand continues for the Yankees. They have Chicago coming in for 2, and then Tampa Bay for 2. The next 4 nights.
And the whole other thing, too, as far as getting wins, I mean, you got to deal with that interleague play, and you got Atlanta you've got to play. You got the Mets who are playing well, so it's not going to be easy.
Those 2 matchups are soon. That's a foul ball off 3rd. Let's pause for station identification along the 68 Sports Red Sox television network.
You're watching Red Sox baseball on Eastern and Central Maine's local sports leader. WAPI-TV, Channel 5, Bangor.
The Red Sox 11, the Yankees 1 with 2 outs and 2 men on in the New York 6th inning. Foul to the screen by Girardi. A ball and 2 strikes. With Jerry Remy, Sean McDonough, sold out Yankee Stadium. Very quiet as the Red Sox have jumped out to this huge lead. Martinez pitching what you would think would be his last inning. The 1-2 just inside. And that's the kind, an 11-1 game, you might think the umpire would ring him up. You might think in a 2-1 game the umpire might ring him up.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pitch right there.
The 2-2 fouled out of play to the right.
Let's go.
Oh, come on. Gee whiz.
Well, you got to throw the ball right down the middle of the plate now to get a strike. I mean, there's 2 pitches in this at bat that could have been called strikes. I don't see where that one is not a strike. It's on the corner. It's knee high.
And Girardi pops it out of play.
It's amazing the amount of pitches that they have to throw, extra pitches, because of the small strike zone in the American League. For the most part, for I'd say 90% of the umpires.
Girardi to right. Bragg retreating, and it is gone. Well, twice it seemed that Martinez had Girardi struck out. Jim Joyce didn't ring him up either time. And Girardi winds up hitting a 3-run homer just over the fence and right. Pedro just watched that one go. A couple of times Jim Joyce wound up to throw the ball out to him, and Pedro still wasn't looking back at the home plate umpire.
Opposite field power for Girardi. He picks up his first home run of the season. Line drive home run up into the bleacher area here at Yankee Stadium. And that'll be it this afternoon for Pedro Martinez.
He leaves with the Red Sox ahead 11-4. And it should be 11-1, and he should have been out of the inning. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Bell Atlantic. John Wasden, the new pitcher. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox television network.
The Lexus warranty on my certified pre-owned car was the deciding factor for me. I make jokes with my son that when he's ready, he can have this car, and I'm sure it'll still be running by then.
Now introducing the American League scoreboard. It seems that the visiting teams are getting most of the runs today, and not just at Yankee Stadium. The Indians hammer the Blue Jays 8-3. That's the final. The White Sox have a big lead. The Rangers with a 7-3 lead over the Orioles. Juan Gonzalez with a grand slam. Mariners hammering Tampa Bay. The Angels have tied up the Twins, and the Athletics lead the Royals. Sports night after the game with Butch Stearns and Paul Devlin. Back to Sean and Jerry at Yankee Stadium.
All right. Turned out to be an arduous outing for Pedro Martinez. He threw 131 pitches, the last of which was driven into the right field seats by Joe Girardi. So John Wasden is the new pitcher with 2 outs in the 6th. The Yankees thinking about an unbelievable comeback. They've narrowed the gap from 11-0 to 11-4. Wasden's first pitch, a ball to Chuck Knobloch.
Wasden, last time he worked was against the Yankees on the 28th, 2 2/3 inning in that game. A couple of hits and 1 earned run.
And the crowd's back into it. Two and 0 on Knobloch. 1 for 3 at double today. 11 runs, 10 hits for Boston. 4 runs, 8 hits for New York. No errors in the game. Wasden throws his first strike. Pedro Martinez pitched 5 2/3 innings. He allowed 4 runs, all earned on 8 hits, including the Girardi homer. He walked 2 and struck out 6. He threw 131 pitches, 84 of them strikes. He has overtaken Randy Johnson for the league lead in strikeouts now with 102. Randy has 100.
He hasn't changed his facial expression since coming out of that ball game, just kind of staring straight ahead at the field. He should have been out of that inning before the home run.
He certainly should have. Now the 2-2 from Wasden. He struck him out. Looks like a little bit of a hanging breaking ball, and Knobloch foul tipped it into the mid of Veritek. So that ends the inning. The Yankees get 3 on the Girardi homer. 11-4 Red Sox after 6 on the 68 Sports Red Sox television network.
Complete from Yankee Stadium, and it's a 11-4 Red Sox lead. As you've been watching us on the flagship station, here's a program reminder. Be sure to tune in every weeknight at 10 for Sports Night with your host Butch Stearns, only on Channel 68.
Pedro Martinez still with the occasional look out at Jim Joyce, shaking his head as he goes down the tunnel. Welcome to the American League, Pedro.
My goodness.
Umpiring in this league is a disgrace. We can say that on a day when the Red Sox are ahead by 11-4. It doesn't get any better. Strike zones are still microscopic. We've been talking about it all day long. He hasn't been particularly the friend of Andy Pettitte or Darren Holmes today either. Pitches right around the plate.
The first inning that Holmes was in the ball game, back in that big 11-run inning for the Red Sox, he threw about 3 or 4 that looked like strikes that were not called. So not just for one side.
Bloomer Loney, the batter, 0-2 the count. He shoots it foul. Well, the first base stands. Darren Holmes is retired 7 in a row. All 7 of those outs on balls hit in the air. Pop-ups and fly balls. There's another ball hit in the air and well struck to left, but caught by Curtis. So Maloney is 1 for 4 out on the line drive to left to begin the 7th.
Probably the hottest ball that he's hit all afternoon, but right at Curtis in left field.
Darren Bragg, the hitter. He's had a good day. 2 for 3. 2 singles, an RBI, a run scored. He struck out back in the 3rd. Strike 1 on Bragg. Another big crowd here at the stadium today. A sellout, 55,711. And the 4-game series between the Red Sox and the Yankees has drawn 200,244 fans. 200,244 for the 4 dates. That's the largest attendance total for 4 dates in a series at Yankee Stadium since 1985. Rounded to second, Knobloch. Threw one low and away to Tino, and he made the catch. Back in September of '85, the 12th to the 15th, the Yankees drew more than 215,000 for a 4-game series with Toronto, and that is the all-time stadium record for a 4-game series at the newly remodeled Yankee Stadium, which opened in 1976. Jason Veritek is the batter with 2 down. The base is empty. Jason's had a good day. A single and a 2-run double. Last time up he flied to right. He has scored twice and has driven in 2. After a shaky start, Holmes has been excellent. First 5 men he faced for each base. Only 1 man has reached since. Knobloch underhand to Martinez, and it's an easy 1-2-3 inning for Holmes. He's retired 10 in a row. We'll be back after these words from your local stations. This is the 6th. Well, we talk about the house that Ruth built, all the great history and tradition here. During the 7th stretch, they have a hot dog and a popcorn walking around the field in costumes.
Doesn't seem necessary, does it?
No. There's the hot dog, I think. And they also have a guy dressed, or a woman dressed up in a box of popcorn. Doesn't really seem to fit in here.
Well, I guess that little kid likes it, so
yeah,
I guess it's worth it. But you're right. It doesn't. I don't know.
When they talk about players being hot dogs, that guy is really a hot dog. We'll get back to the graphic we showed you in a moment. It does relate to the winning tradition of the Yankees. Derek Jeter rips one from John Wasden past Lou Merlone. Base hit to right to begin the Yankees' 7th. They're down by 7. Jeter is 2 for 4 today. He's going to be sorry to see this month of May end. He's hit close to 400 now in the month of May.
Strange day for Jeter, too. It's either strikeout or base hit. Struck out twice against Martinez, but did have that one hit, and now the opposite field base hit to lead off the bottom of the 7th. A lot of offense, a lot of good offensive players in this Yankee club, so you got to bear down, even with the big lead.
Paul O'Neill hacking at the first one. He fouled it off to the left. Goes and O'Neill lets him go. It's a stolen base with ease for Jeter.
Well, you might as well. The Red Sox are playing behind him. Vaughn was a couple of steps behind Jeter at first base. Why stay there, have a ground ball, and have a double play? You might as well get in the scoring position.
And they do credit Jeter with a stolen base. His 14th of the year. And now O'Neill serves one into center. Jeter is waved around. Lewis will throw to second. It's 11-5, just like that. And here comes Jimmy Williams. And he's going to go to the bullpen. Pedro Martinez due up. He'll summon the left-hander, Ron Mayhew. With the score, the Red Sox 11 and the Yankees 5. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
The new Dodge. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you. And buy Guinness.
Sean McDonough, Jerry Remy back at Yankee Stadium. New York trying to make a game of it. Here's the third Boston pitcher of the afternoon, Ron Mayhew. He inherits a runner at first with nobody out in the 7th. One run into this inning against John Wasden. Paul O'Neill at first. Tino Martinez the batter. Ball one low and away from Mayhew. Martinez struggling. 0 for 3 today. Ball in the dirt, blocked by Veritek.
Mayhew worked in the game a couple of nights ago, the rain delay game, inning in 2/3 in that game. 1 hit, 1 walk, threw the ball well. Like he was just rearing back, letting it go. Little noise going on now at the stadium.
Ball 3. Dennis Eckersley warming up. Red Sox have never blown an 11-run lead in their history. Ball 4. But they are turning this one into a safe squirmer. A long way to go against an outstanding lineup. Joe Kerrigan to the mound. Largest lead the Red Sox have ever squandered was 10 runs up against Toronto. June 4th of 1989. It was 10-0 after 6 innings. I remember that ball game well at Fenway Park. Was calling the action with Jim Lonborg. Bob Montgomery was away on personal business, and Red Sox wound up losing that game 13-11 in 12 innings. Only once have they lost a 10-run lead. 2 men on, nobody out. 11-5 Red Sox. It was 11-0. Bernie Williams, the batter. Ball one low.
You know, sometimes to me, he comes out and just seems like he lets the ball go, and that's when he's most effective. And other times he'll come out and looks like he's aiming the ball. That looks like the case here this afternoon.
That seemed to be the case when we saw him last weekend at Fenway Park. Williams 2 for 3 today. 8 for 13 in the series. Good changeup. Williams a single twice, stolen a base, scored a run.
Change up to Bernie Williams. He has 7 home runs. 4 of them have come from the right side of the plate. And all 7 of those in the last couple of weeks.
Another off-speed pitch. Fooled Williams. 1-2. Bernie will be followed by Darryl Strawberry, although Tim Raines has moved in the on-deck circle with a bat. And the Red Sox do have Eckersley, a right-hander, throwing in the bullpen. Undoubtedly, Jimmy Williams, with an 11-0 lead, didn't think that he might get into a point in the ball game where he'd have to be changing the pitchers batter by batter, left versus right, but that could be the case. That's a base hit on a 1-2 pitch, a little top spin liner in the left field, and the bases are loaded with nobody out.
Well, he's going to end up using about 2 or 3 more pitches in this game probably than he wanted to. He figured Martinez would be able to go maybe to the 7th or 8th and have one guy come in and finish it up. And now you can see they're burning up the phone lines down to the bullpen. 3rd hit of the afternoon for Bernie Williams. 2 strikes. He'll hook that outside pitch for the line drive base hit. And out comes Jimmy Williams again.
Dennis Eckersley will be the new pitcher. Tim Raines has been introduced as the pinch hitter. Mayhay faced 2 batters. Didn't retire either of them. Yankees making a ball game of it. 11-5 Boston. Nobody out, and the bases loaded in the bottom of the 7th. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
In this game to get the win, and it's not going to be easy getting those 9 outs. Ron Mayhey's work is done for the afternoon after a walk and a base hit by Bernie Williams. And Dennis Eckersley called into the game, 23rd time on the season. Eckersley worked a couple of days ago, inning and a 3rd in that ball game, only 1 hit allowed. It's more like a closing situation, what Eckersley's accustomed to. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Tim Raines will switch around and hit left-handed against Eckersley.
Not much difference for Raines, left versus right this year. He's at .317 from the left, .308 from the right, .313 overall. He's 0 for 6 as a pinch hitter. Batting for Darryl Strawberry. Eckersley's first pitch, ball 1 high. The Red Sox led 11-0. It is now 11-5. And the Yankees have loaded the bases with nobody out in the 7th inning. Already scored once in this inning. 5 career grand slams for Raines. Strike, borderline pitch. Day in which everything should have come easily for the Red Sox, all of a sudden nothing is. Foul to the screen. None of the previous 3 pitchers effective for the Red Sox. Well, Martinez had the whole feel of his outing changed by that Girardi homer. And it looked like the Red Sox had him struck out at least once, if not twice, last inning.
Even with that, Sean, it didn't seem like he was the same after the 11 runs. He was right on target the 1st and 2nd inning, had 4 strikeouts, and then didn't have a strikeout after that till the 5th inning.
Infield back at double play depth. The outfield more or less straight away for Raines. Just missed, a little bit low and away. Eckersley had his knees buckled by the lack of a strike call there from Jim Joyce.
Well, there have been ones closer than this today that have not been called strikes.
Now he has to throw a strike on the 3-2 pitch. Ball 4, another very close pitch.
Well, after the pitch before, when Eckersley kind of buckled his knees, he was not likely to get a close call from Jim Joyce on the next pitch. See a little interplay here between Eckersley and Joyce. This is getting very ugly right now.
It's 11-6. Raines picks up an RBI with a bases loaded walk, his 20th run batted into the year. Both runs scored in this inning charged to Wasden, who pitched 1/3 of an inning and gave up 2 runs on 2 hits. Ball 1 to Chad Curtis. Bases loaded, still nobody out. Now the tying run is in the on-deck circle. Strike at the belt, and even then Jim Joyce took a second or two before raising that arm. You wonder why Curtis took that pitch. That looked to go fluttering by just about belt high. 11 runs, 10 hits for the Red Sox, 6 runs, 11 hits for New York. Down the line, foul. Couple of feet wide of third. Curtis has been dreadful in his career with the bases full. A 164 hitter with 1 grand slam. He's 1 for 2 today. He started the day 2 for his last 23. In the hole, a base hit. Martinez scores. They stop Williams at third. It's 11-7. And the Yankees have the tying run coming to the plate with nobody out in the 7th inning.
Willie Randolph was waving Bernie Williams home, but Bernie decided on his own to stop, and I think he made the right choice. There's nobody out in a big inning here, and if he goes home and gets thrown out, that takes the momentum away from the Yankees. O'Leary charging the ball. Randolph's waving him on, but Bernie's going to hold at third base. And still bases loaded, still nobody out, and it's a 4-run ball game.
And Eckersley's going to have to get himself out of this inning because there is no action in the bullpen behind him. Of course, the Red Sox had to chew up Tom Gordon for 2 innings yesterday to earn the save and end the 6-game losing streak. 11-7, bases loaded. Scott Brocious takes strike 1. 3 runs in the inning, 3 more men on base, still nobody out. The Red Sox have had an 11-run inning. This is shaping up as what could be a huge inning for New York. Brocious 1 for 3. An RBI single in the 4th. Strike 2 inside corner at the knees. And it's anybody's guess now what is going to be called a ball or a strike. The strike zone is all over the place. That looked like a terrific pitch. But Brocious didn't think so. Brocious not much of a mark with the bases loaded. But the same was true of Curtis ahead of him, and he delivered a big hit. Foul ball, still 0-2. Joe Girardi scheduled to bat next.
Well, this is not a day where hitters should be questioning Joyce because for both sides, he has certainly been a hitter's umpire.
Jorge Posada has just come into the on-deck circle to bat for Girardi. The 0-2. He struck him out with a pitch in the dirt. A huge first out of the inning for Eckersley and the Red Sox.
Good sinker here by Eckersley. Watch the end of this, how much it drops. Picks up a big strikeout. But Brocious is going to swing at anything after that ball before that pitch on him.
Another wild one between the Red Sox and the Yankees. Jorge Posada batting for Joe Girardi. Girardi hit a 3-run homer last inning that got the crowd back into the ballgame. That made it 11-4. Posada's seen more of the catching time for New York. He takes the ball high. He's a switch hitter. Batting .255 overall, .237 from the left.
How'd you like to be Girardi? You hit a 3-run home run off Pedro Martinez in your last at bat, then you pinch hit for.
Posada has home run pop. 6 homers, 5 from the left. He takes a strike, 1-1. He is the 8th batter of the inning. Still just 1 out. The infield remains back at double play depth. The outfield is playing Posada to pull. With the exception of the left fielder O'Leary, Posada has all kinds of room in left center field. Eckersley's 1-1. Great stop by Merlone to Garcia Parra. Double play! What a play by Lou Merlone! That was a bullet that appeared ticketed for right center field, and Lou Merlone cemented the remaining votes that he needs to become the next governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. What a play! It started a 4-6-3 double play, and the Red Sox escaped the inning still with a 4-run lead. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
Boys, and this is the biggest right here by Lou Merlone, making a fantastic diving play to start the double play. Here's the hard hit ground ball by Posada. Merlone outstretched to his right. The underhand flip to Nomar, and they will complete the double play and get the Red Sox out of big trouble. That ball gets by Merlone. It's at least an 11-9 ball game, and still only the 1 out in the inning. Huge defensive play in this game.
Might be an overstatement, Jerry, considering all the huge plays the Red Sox have had already this season, the big hits, the great defensive plays, the clutch pitching performances, but that might be the biggest, maybe the biggest that anybody will make all year, because if the Red Sox blow this game, that could be the kind of devastating loss from which a team does not recover.
I'll tell you, 9 outs they had to get in this ball game. They gave up the 3 runs in the 7th. They still got to get 6 more outs against a very good offense. And that inning had, like, 6-7 runs written all over it. So that is a huge defensive play.
Still 6 more outs to go. Jorge Posada remains in the ball game as the catcher after being robbed of the hit by Merlone, and it's a new pitcher. Darren Holmes retired the last 10 men he faced. He's been removed and replaced by Jeff Nelson.
Nelson worked in the ball game yesterday. That was his 26th appearance, and came against the Red Sox, pitching a perfect 9th inning. Had a couple of strikeouts. Did Nelson, of course. He just finished his suspension and that scuffle they had with the Baltimore Orioles. Well, you're right, Sean, about this game. I mean, you blow an 11-0 lead to the Yankees. It would take a long time to get over that one.
Mo Vaughn's been stomping around in that dugout, yelling and screaming. Don't think he likes the way this thing is going. Talked earlier about the Red Sox perhaps sending a statement back to the Yankees, answering those drubbings they took last weekend. Well, whatever statement they were trying to make has been significantly diminished by the way this ball game has turned around.
Well, they stopped hitting. They got the 11 runs in the 3rd. Since then, what have they got? 1 hit?
Bats went to sleep. Sometimes you think you have enough, and ordinarily when you're ahead by 11, that should be enough, but not with the way the Red Sox have been pitching lately. Darren Lewis with a base hit to greet Nelson. That's his first hit, but he's been on base 3 times today with 2 walks and 2 runs scored. Here's John Valentin. He has walked twice and singled. He's scored twice. Last time up, he flied to right. Darren Holmes pitched 4 in the 3rd innings. Gave up 3 runs. on 4 hits. Walked 2. Did not strike out a batter. First 5 men he faced when he entered the game in the 3rd reached base, and the Red Sox had only 1 base runner thereafter. Tom Gordon starting to stretch in the bullpen. And these performances by the others, members of the pitching staff, if they continue, they're going to wear out Tom Gordon by the All-Star break at the rate they're going.
That's Jimmy Williams. I said you're going to be able to use him today. I think he made 30-some pitches in the ball game yesterday, pitching 2 innings. He said, well, if at all, it's going to be just for 1 inning. And he said, I'll have to check with Gordon on that.
Lewis is out. A very high tag by Knobloch, and Jimmy Williams is going to argue the play. He tagged him up around the head, and his feet were around the bag. John Hirschbeck waved Lewis off as he protested. Jimmy doesn't argue very often.
Nor does Darren Lewis.
No, that's for sure. Al Clarkson will escort Lewis away. Looked like Lewis got a very late start away from first base, but the throw was high. It looked like the tag was high up around the head. Well, on the shoulder, the back thereof.
Now Lewis is going to argue that his foot was on the bag when that tag was made on the number 20. And he may have an argument with this. Watch how Knobloch's got to go up. Now he's going to slap number 20 on the bag. But the question is, was Lewis' foot on the bag?
This should be a better angle to see that. I think he's out.
That's a good call.
Yes, it was.
That's a good call in that angle.
Yeah, he looked out there too.
Well, it'd be hard to tell who's ahead in this game right now.
Yep. The Red Sox clearly are reeling. Were it not for the great play by Merlone, who knows what the score might be right now. But any feeling of great satisfaction or momentum that the Red Sox might have been taking away from this loss, from this win, has been diminished by the way this thing has turned around. Now they're hanging on for dear life. Valden hits a frozen rope foul.
I don't like what Hirschbeck did there to Darren Lewis. I mean, not that Lewis was right, but don't wave a guy away. Let him have his say.
That's right.
And then you go up and say to him, look, you had your say. Please turn around and go back to the dugout. If he doesn't, you throw him out of the game. But why do that right away?
Because these guys, in addition to not being very good at their jobs, are combative and arrogant. And they do more to cause problems on the field than they do stop them.
Now, if you have a guy that's constantly on umpires all the time, you get tired of that act too, so I can understand it from an umpire's point of view. But Lewis, he never says a word to any of them.
No, that's right. Joe Kerrigan chatting with Dennis Eckersley. No action in the Boston bullpen right now. It seems Eckersley will come out to begin the bottom of the 8th. The Yankees at the top of their order coming up. Nomar sends one right through Nelson into center field. Valentin will stop at second as Williams fielded the ball cleanly. But caught stealing is a big play. It's the only out of the inning. Red Sox have 3 hits in the inning. First and second with 1 out. Joe Torre wants to stay close in this one, so he goes to the mound to summon the left-hander Graham Lloyd. Well, this ball game already past the 3-hour mark, and it's going to be going on for quite a while. We'll be back after these words from your local stations. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
Echo, quality lawn and garden.
Sox lead as we have another new pitcher in for the New York Yankees. Well, the Red Sox host a new team from Tampa Bay, the Devil Rays, for the first time in a weekend series, June 12th, 13th, and 14th. For tickets 24 hours a day, call 617-482-4SOX. And the new pitcher will be Graham Lloyd, making his 16th appearance. Another one of those pitchers that was suspended by the American League in that brawl with the Baltimore Orioles. Well, he pitched the ball game yesterday. He picked up a Rabu and pitched a scoreless 8th inning. Did have a strikeout in that ball game. 6 strikeouts in 12 2/3 innings for the left-hander.
Here comes Mo Vaughn. We saw the tail end of Mo stomping around a little bit in the dugout. From what we are told, he was really very animated and upset when the Red Sox came off the field after Maloney's big play. Looked to be a laugher for the Red Sox. Uplifting day filled with positives has turned around in a major way. They still lead by 4, and they're looking to add to that lead as Lloyd throws a strike to Mo, who fouled it off to the left. How productive is something like that, Jerry? You come in, the ball game is going such as it is, and the guy on your team regarded as a leader apparently is hollering and screaming.
Well, I think it's a lot of frustration. You got to take it from who it comes from, you know. But this has been embarrassing for the Red Sox. It's 11-0. You know, all of a sudden you're one play away from having this, you know, an 11-9 and 11-10 game. And somebody's got to come in and say something. And I guess it's got to be a guy like Mo Vaughn. Now he has a chance to back up some what he said by maybe driving in a run here.
Well, I think that's the important factor, too. I mean, we mentioned earlier in the month of May, he's at 115 with men in scoring position, so he's got to back it up with his own performance before he can go screaming and hollering at others. Lately, he hasn't done that. 1-2 the count. Vaughn today has driven in 3 runs with a 1-for-4 day. Single to knock in 2 in the 3rd. Picked up an RBI when reached on a fielder's choice earlier in the inning. He's batting with Valentin at 2nd and Garcia Parra at 1st. Nomar's at 3 hits today. Vaughn reached for it and pulled it foul.
You know, you can be one of those guys that comes in and yells in the dugout, yells in the clubhouse, but you better not have any skeletons in your closet, because then guys don't respect that. And Vaughn is considered a leader on this ball club.
He'll be followed by Jim Leyritz. 11 runs, 13 hits for Boston, 7 runs, 12 hits for New York. In the 8th inning, Mo pops it foul and out of play to the left.
Well, the 2 starting pitches in this game today, you never expected this.
Nope. Joined us late, Pedro Martinez and Andy Pettitte started. Pettitte had a major struggle, lasted just 2 2/3 innings. Martinez pitched 5 2/3, gave up 4 runs, the last 3 on a home run by Joe Girardi just before he left. In the hole, Knobloch has to go to first for the out. So the runners move up. Valentin the 3rd, Garcia Parra at 2nd, but now there are 2 outs. We'll see if they pitch to Jim Leyritz with first base open. Troy O'Leary on deck.
Looks like they are going to walk Leyritz, put him on first base, load the bases, and take their chances with the left-handed hitter. O'Leary 1 for 4 this afternoon. That base hit coming off Andy Pettitte back in the 3rd inning.
And Leyritz is aboard on the intentional walk. First time he has been intentionally walked this year. Red Sox haven't received many. As a team, they've been walked intentionally 7 times. 4 of those to Mo Vaughn. Well, here's O'Leary with the bases loaded. And you often hear talk about the difference between a 4-run lead and a 5-run lead, but then the opponents cannot tie it with one swing of the bat. O'Leary would like to push the lead beyond the 4 runs where it currently stands. 1 strike on Troy.
They can't be comfortable in an 11-run lead.
Nope. Not today. Routine ground ball to second, gobbled up by Knobloch. A low throw. He's had a couple of throws reminiscent of Steve Sachs in the last couple of innings, but Martinez has saved him a couple of times. So Lloyd does the job. Red Sox 3 hits in the inning, but they do not score. Eckersley back on the mound, leading by 4 on the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
Sox on deck comes to you 1/2 hour before each Red Sox game on the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
Last inning, we showed you the graphic about the Yankees. They are the winningest team in baseball since 1973, and we picked that date because that's when George Steinbrenner took control of the franchise. So Steinbrenner has many admirers, many detractors, but the bottom line is the Yankees have a higher winning percentage than any other team in Major League Baseball since he has owned the club. They have the best record in baseball this year. They trailed today by 4 runs. In the 8th, Chuck Knobloch takes strike 1 on the outside corner. Top of the order, Knobloch, Jeter, and O'Neill. Knobloch 1 for 4. He doubled in the 3rd inning against the starter Pedro Martinez. Last time up, he struck out against John Wasden, the only batter. Wasden retired. Wasden pitched a 1/3 of an inning, allowed 2 runs on 2 hits. He had 1 strikeout. Ron Mayhay pitched 2 batters. Did not retire either of them. He gave up 1 run on 1 hit and a walk. Bruin in charge of another run had it not been for the great defensive play last inning by Lou Merlone. The 0-2 to Knobloch outside. There is action in the Boston bullpen behind Eckersley. Jim Corsi is throwing. In the air, left center, that's a problem. Lewis slides to make the backhanded play, and Knobloch has a leadoff double.
What a series for Knobloch. Both series, the one last weekend at Fenway, and of course here at Yankee Stadium. Down 2 strikes, but he'll find the gap in left center field for the leadoff double. So the Yankees trying to pick up right where they left off to end the 7th inning.
And Eckersley has not been sharp today. Walked the first man he faced, then gave up the hit to Curtis after a strikeout of Brocious. Merlone made the great play of the double player. That would have been a hit. Now Knobloch a hit. That's a bullet down to 3rd. Valentin has to hurry, and he gets Jeter. And the runner cannot advance. So a big first out of the inning on another well-hit ball. Jeter hard grounded to 3rd. Valentin made the play, and Jeter's now 2 for 5.
But you got to hurry too, because Jeter hustling all the way down that line, and it took a seed from John Valentin to get him at first base. Knocks the ball down. Now he has to chase it down. Fortunately, it's heading toward first base, and that helps getting the out. John checking the runner at second. Knobloch then goes pick up the baseball and gets the out at first base.
And the realization set in. It's almost as if you could see the light bulb go on that he better hurry because Jeter was running.
There was a play, I think it was yesterday, where Merlone playing second base on a routine ground ball to second, and it was a bang play at first base with Jeter running down the line. Not sure Corsi quite ready. It seemed to be, Red Sox seem to be stalling some with Veritek out talking to Eckersley. They checked to see if Corsi was ready. I don't think they got a sign back.
Paul O'Neill, the batter. Grounded to short. Knobloch goes to 3rd as Garciaparra throws out O'Neill. A couple of tough customers put away by Eckersley.
See, a lot of hitters jump on that first pitch from Eckersley because he throws strikes, and right down on the ground for O'Neill. A couple of quick outs after the leadoff double.
And the batter is Tino Martinez. 0 for 3 with a walk last inning against Ron Mayhay. He takes a strike. Tino's 0 for his last 11. And it should be 0 for 12. Merlone throws him out. Nice job by Eckersley after the leadoff double by Knobloch. The Yankees strand Knobloch at third. And we head to the ninth. The Red Sox are leading 11-7. Each team with 13 hits. The Red Sox led 11-0. They've had to hang on here in the late innings. The Yankees will try to keep it a 4-run deficit, and they turn the ball over to Todd Erdos, just called up from their AAA team in Columbus, Ohio.
It was 11 saves for Erdos, led the International League. A big strikeout pitcher at the AAA level. With 30 strikeouts in 22 2/3 innings. He made his Yankee debut against the Red Sox on Friday. Pitched a scoreless 8th inning in that game, allowing 1 hit. And he came over from Arizona. They took him in that expansion draft from the San Diego Padres. They traded Andy Fox for Erdos. They also got Marty Jansen in that deal.
Graham Lloyd pitched 2/3 of an inning without allowing a hit or a run. He did issue an intentional walk. Here's Lou Merlone. On a day dominated by offense, he made the biggest play of this game. The 7th inning with the Red Sox reeling, the Yankees within 4 and the bases loaded. Merlone, the great diving stop with a smash by Jorge Posada, and he started the 4-6-3 double play. First pitch from Erdos, fouled off by Merlone. At the plate, lose 1 for 4. An RBI bloop hit back in the 3rd. He scored run during the 11-run 3rd. All of the Red Sox scoring in that inning. The Yankees have chipped away since. A single run in the 4th, 3 runs in the 6th, 3 in the 7th, and it could have been many more were it not for Merlone. He has another base hit.
They'll look forward to playing in this series at Yankee Stadium. The first time he's been here, obviously, as a baseball player, major league player, and he's responded very nicely over the weekend. The comfort factor there. He's facing a guy I'm sure he probably faced his watch pitch in the International League.
Darren Bragg 2 for 4. An RBI single in the 3rd. He singled again in the 4th. He's driven in a run and scored once. Chased the high one and popped it up off 3rd. That'll be out of play. Bragg at bat with Jason Varitek on deck. Tom Gordon is warming up in the Red Sox bullpen. Well, you hate to see that. An 11-0 lead after your closer pitches 2 innings yesterday, and now you have to warm him up. In a day he needed the rest, and it seemed like he had every opportunity to get it. He'll never have a greater chance with the Red Sox ahead by 11.
And it wouldn't even be a save situation for Gordon coming in this ball game.
One from Erdos right over the heart of the plate. Erdos from Meadville, Pennsylvania. San Diego's 9th round draft pick back in June of '92, and then in the expansion draft, the Diamondbacks took him with the 7th choice, the 2nd round. Down the line. That's a fair ball out of the reach of Tino Martinez. Merlone speeds toward 3rd. He'll be held there, and Bragg slides headfirst into 2nd with a double. His 3rd hit of the ball game. And the Red Sox have the first 2 men on, both in scoring position here in the 9th.
Well, Bragg had been struggling. His average down at 248 starting the game today, but now 3 for 5. Right down the first base line. Martinez was holding Merlone on, and it's quickly going to be to his left. He'll dive for it, but just up over the bag and down that right field line. Al Clark, playing behind the bag, makes the call. Well, bounced right up over his glove. Hit a divot in the infield dirt.
That's why you're supposed to replace your divots.
A lot of divots out there today.
Infield in. Pettitte takes a strike. Jason's 2 for 4, a single and a 2-run double. He has scored twice. Since then, he's flied to right and grounded to second. Red Sox have 15 hits today, without a home run. The season high in hits is 20 in Kansas City on May 8th. Game in which they scored 14 runs, which is also their single game best in runs scored this season. All of a sudden, a lot of empty seats. When it was 11-0, even into the middle innings, these people hung in there, but a lot of them have made their way to the exits. Even when they have about 20,000 here, the traffic jams after the game are monumental.
At the end of last inning, at the end of the 8th inning, a lot of them left.
The 1-2 bounce down to first. Martinez looks Merlone back to third and steps in the bag for the first out.
Just to give you an idea what it's like in New York, getting out to Yankee Stadium on Friday. Driving out here, it was a 55-minute drive. This morning, on a beautiful Sunday morning, it was at 15 minutes. So you can spend some time on the road getting out to the ballpark.
Yes, you do. Here in New York, team stays at a hotel in Midtown Manhattan. Now Darren Lewis. Been on base 3 times with a single and 2 walks. He has scored twice. Base hit, a big hit for Lewis. Merlone scores. Here comes Bragg. He scores. And the lead is back to 6. A little more breathing room for the Red Sox, and perhaps they won't have to call upon Tom Gordon today. As a matter of fact, he has taken a seat in the Boston bullpen, and Rich Garces is now warming up. Big day for Darren Lewis. 2 hits. He's been on base 4 times, and he picks up 2 runs batted in with this base hit.
Yeah, Lewis now at 16 RBI, and this hot line drive up the middle. And a change in the momentum in this game. Turn it back the other way, the way it was supposed to be. Couple of long nights and afternoon here at the Yankee Stadium this week.
16 runs batted in for the season now for Lewis. Valentin takes the ball low. So Erdos, just up from Columbus, is struggling in this outing. He's faced 4 batters. 3 of them have a hit. They designated Willie Banks for assignment, the right-handed pitcher, when they called Erdos up. Valentin underneath that one. It's out of play to the right. John's 2 for 3 and has walked twice. He's been on base 4 times. 2 singles, 2 walks, 2 runs scored. Breaking ball missed. In the bottom of the 9th, the Yankees have Bernie Williams, Tim Raines, and Chad Curtis due up. Might be against Rich Garces, who continues to throw in the Boston bullpen. Eckersley has pitched 2 innings of relief. For all the high wire acts while Eck was out there, he has not been charged with a run. Now the 3-1 to Valentin. Another base hit for John down the left field line. Curtis chases it into the corner. Lewis will be stopped at third by Wendell Kim, and Valentin has a double. The Red Sox are knocking Erdos around here in the 9th.
A few guys are going to fatten that batting average this afternoon. Lewis would be one, Valentin another, as he picks up his 3rd hit. 3 for 4 this afternoon with a couple of walks. Fastball right down the heart of the plate, and Valentin with the line drive base hit. Chad Curtis cutting the ball off. That's going to save a run, but Red Sox with second and third and the one out.
Mel Stottlemyre, the pitching coach at the mound.
Come on, bud.
Well, the New York Mets' 8-game winning streak is over. Or is it? No, it is not. They came from behind and beat Philadelphia 8-6. They were down 6-5, so they've won 9 in a row. Pittsburgh beat Montreal today. Nomar Garcia-Parra, the batter. He's 3 for 5. Has 3 runs batted in, 2 singles and a double. He has scored a run. He looked at ball 1 from Todd Erdos. Infield in for New York. Garcia-Parra at bat with Mo Vaughn on deck. 13 runs, 17 hits for Boston, 7 runs, 13 hits for the Yankees. Maybe I am still in Omaha.
I tell you what, I just think these players are going to be dead after this game today, both sides, because you have that game that starts at 9:45. You get back home or to the hotel. You got the 1 o'clock start the next day, and now you're going to have close to a 4-hour ball game here this afternoon.
Foul tip. 1-2 the count. Well, a night game tomorrow in Toronto for the Red Sox, and on Tuesday.
Lou Maloney looks like he's ready to play another game.
Yes, he does. When you get down toward where most of the pitchers are sitting, they look a little shell-shocked, and then the rest of those guys look like they're ready for a nap at the end of the bench. Garcia-Parra in a protective mode, infield in. The pop-up sends them back, but Martinez is there. 2 outs.
Well, I doubt that Vaughn will get the hit here. Torrey may just go ahead and put him on first base and take his chances with Leyritz.
They will walk Vaughn.
Well, the Red Sox feel they have enough. Will they go to Reggie Jefferson to pinch hit for Leyritz?
I'm not sure you can ever truly believe you have enough the way this one is going. No movement in the on-deck circle. It's still Leyritz standing there. And Reggie Jefferson remains on the bench. He had a 2-homer game here Friday night.
Looks like Leyritz expected to get called back. He stopped
to
look back in the dugout, but he'll hit with the bases loaded.
Well, Leyritz has cut into a bit of Jefferson's playing time lately. He's seen more action against right-handed starters. Leyritz today hitless. 0 for 4. He does have an RBI. As a result of a fielder's choice back in the 3rd, he scored in that inning. He was intentionally walked last inning. He looks at strike 1. 13-7. The Red Sox have the lead. Leyritz has been a much better hitter against right-handed pitching, batting .353. Up the middle. Stopped by Jeter. A nice play to his left. And that ends the inning. The Red Sox leave the bases loaded. They settled for 2 runs. They've stranded 10. They lead by 6 as we go to the bottom of the 9th on the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
13th appearance overall, a record of 1-0. Costas worked a couple of nights ago against the Yankees, an inning and 2/3 in that game. 1 hit, 1 walk. Did have a couple of strikeouts against New York.
You joined us late. Pedro Martinez started, went 5 2/3 innings, allowed 4 runs, all earned on 8 hits, including a homer by Joe Girardi. He walked 2, struck out 6. John Wasden pitched a third of an inning, gave up 2 runs on 2 hits. He struck out 1. Ron Mayhay faced 2 batters, both reached. He walked 1 and gave up a hit, was charged with 1 run. Then Dennis Eckersley pitched 2 innings, gave up 2 hits, a walk and a strikeout. He was not scored upon. And they did walk a man with the bases loaded to force in a run that was charged to one of his predecessors. And he also gave up a run scoring hit by Curtis, but none of those runs charged to him. John Wasden in the middle, Derek Lowe on the right of your screen, and Steve Avery on the left. Avery will start Tuesday night in Toronto. 7 o'clock ball game. That's our next telecast. 6:30 for On Deck with Doug Brown. Two starts ago, looked like Avery had taken a major step forward, and then the last time out, he had a tough time against the Blue Jays.
A lot of people speculated that maybe Barkley would get a start in his spot, which would be Barkley's turn to start, but looks like it's going to be Avery again up in Toronto.
Bernie Williams begins the Yankee ninth. Williams, Raines, and Curtis due up. Williams 3 for 4 today. He's had a huge series. 9 for 14. All of his hits today singles. He stole a base and scored a run. Garces in with a strike. Well, assuming the Red Sox go on to win this one, what do you think the general tone is going to be around the clubhouse?
Happy to get out of town with a couple of wins. I think that's the way you feel about this one today. It's been a tough series, the 4 games. A couple of losses started off. You got a great game yesterday from Saberhagen. It's almost like the 11-run inning. It sounds crazy. He took the starch out of everybody in this game. It looked like it took the starch out of Pedro Martinez for a while. The key is to get some wins. They stopped that 6-game losing streak and get a couple of wins here in New York, which is not an easy place to win, obviously, the way the Yankees have been playing. And on up to Toronto, see if you can take care of some business against that club who did you some damage the last time you faced them.
Full count now. And that's fouled out of play to the left. In the hole, base hit. Top spin bouncer through the right side. A 4-hit day for Williams.
Well, Williams won't be happy to see the Red Sox leave town, that's for sure. He's had some series, 4 hits again today. He's going to be, what, over 350 now with the batting average. The ground ball between first and second. When you're hot, you get all kind of hits.
He's at first to open the 9th, and the batter is Tim Raines. He came up as a pinch hitter with the bases loaded. It was Dennis Eckersley in the 7th and walked to force in a run.
Can you believe it? Gordon's up again in the Red Sox bullpen.
Oh, 0-2.
That now for Gordon is almost like pitching in a game. He was up one time to loosen up, sat back down, and now has to throw again. That's after 2 innings yesterday. But that's how Jimmy Williams feels about this game here this afternoon. Not quite sure.
The 0-2 a little bit low and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Down the right field line, a foul ball. Well, Kansas City beat Oakland today. Did you see any of the highlights of that ceremony last night?
Just a
honoring
few,
Dan
yeah.
Quisenberry. What an emotional night. One of the great relief pitchers in recent times. Dan Quisenberry now battling brain cancer. He was inducted in the Royals Hall of Fame last night. Very emotional as he and his family were on the field at Kauffman Stadium. 1-2 the count.
I didn't notice the crowd. Did you happen to see what type of crowd they had?
It looked like on the highlights they had a very good crowd. We can find out here. Not too much heavy lifting.
Quisenberry, one of the most popular members of the Royals through their tremendous seasons.
They had 30,341, which is well above their average. When we were out there, they're averaging about 14,000, 15,000 fans.
That's what they said was in the place, too.
Yeah, and even that seemed padded. Well, we wish him well. He's a good guy and done a tremendous amount in the Kansas City community in addition to what he did on the field for the Royals. Raines pops that one up in shallow left. O'Leary with the sunglasses on makes the catch for the first out of the 9th inning. The Red Sox lead 13-7.
Quisenberry for a couple of years one of the top closers in the game of baseball. That submarine style delivery.
I believe I heard Ray Knight say last night on television that 5 years in a row he was in the top 10 in the American League in MVP balloting as a relief pitcher. Chad Curtis has had a good day, breaking out of a 2-for-23 slump with a 2-for-3 day today. 2 singles and a walk. He has knocked in a run and scored 1. The count. Curtis will be followed by Scott Brocious. Taking all the way on 2-0. It's 2-1. Three balls and a strike, and Gordon is still throwing in the bullpen. And Curtis takes a strike at the knees. Down by 6. He's being very patient. Like a tough sun field out there right now for Darren. He had the glasses up, but he made the catch, and the Yankees are down to their final out.
I like making the play in a line drive. Bernie Williams was halfway to second base. So Bragg there thinking about the throw for the double play, but changed his mind right at the last minute.
Scott Brocious is the hitter. He's 1 for 4 today, an RBI single in the 4th. He struck out in the 7th against Eckersley when the Yankees were really rallying. Williams takes second. Defensive indifference there. Now he's at second base. And that's out of play in the upper deck and right. 1-1. With this victory, the Red Sox will improve to 3-4 this year against the Yankees. Roches down the line. Vaughn has it. Steps on the bag, and this one is finally over. There were 377 pitches in this ball game. It took 3 hours and 45 minutes. The Red Sox win it 13-7. 13 runs, 17 hits, and no errors for Boston. 7 runs, 14 hits, and no errors for New York. Each team left 10 men on base. Pedro Martinez, the winner, 6-1. Andy Pettitte, the loser, 6-5. No save. And the attendance, 55,711. And we're going to leave it to other people to recap this because we don't know where to begin or end, but we do know the Red Sox had an 11-run inning, their biggest inning in 12 years. Yankees gave up 11 runs in 1 inning, the most that they had surrendered in an inning in almost 55 years. It looked like it was just going to be a totally positive day for the Red Sox, but now, as a Red Sox fan, it kind of leaves you with a glass is half full feeling.
You know, it's amazing. You look over that score, 17 hits, 14, no errors for either club. You know, in a game like this, you'd expect maybe 5 errors, but it didn't happen. But one big defensive play is the play by Merlone to get that double play, because that inning had disaster written all over it. They get 2 quick outs and hold the lead and finally add a few more to win it 13-7. What a long afternoon and a long weekend in New York.
The bottom line is the Red Sox wind up with a victory. They wind up with a split of the series. They head to Toronto with a 2-game winning streak. Again, the final score of today's game, the Red Sox 13, the Yankees 7. Our next telecast is Tuesday night from Toronto. Tune in to On Deck with your host Doug Brown beginning at 6:30, followed by the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. Now for Jerry Remy, Sean McDonough saying so long from New York. This has been a presentation of the 68 Sports Boston Red Sox television